inside the Morgan Central Prison to get the former speaker and others out to go at the morgue. That's the Temple of Justice.
Where are your pieces of evidence? My pieces of evidence will be when I'm called to the court. When I'm called to the court, I will go back to the high court. I said when I'm called to the court, I will be 100% ready. I am telling you when I'm called to the court, I just know I'm a son of a proper lawyer. I'm not saying that. I've said this before, I'm saying it. I am from Bonnie County,
so folks, keep following, keep sharing as we bring the Morgan Central Prison as we await the former speaker, Councillor J. Francisco and others from state security. So we are seeing views of state security here. Moses Akagwe so there you see Moses Akagwe is celebrating with a music within a vehicle.
Yesterday you were seeing alone.
So people are chanting Amanda and Becky in the background, supporters of the coalition
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Monday edition of the closing argument. Let me straighten my tie here. Too many headlines to count, but this is the new Liberia. We are going to do the best we can to squeeze in as many of the comments as we can, many of the headlines as we can. Do us a favor, share this show, send in your comments. Let us get this show going. Liberia is hot. News from everywhere. The Republic of Liberia, this particular administration, does not lack when it comes to the news. We are going to be looking at some of the news making the headlines in Liberia. Obviously, the recent posts former Speaker Kofa and others released from prison. Security blocked CDC Chairman Cole from entering the Temple of Justice during the lawmakers' trial. Sube accuses Boyka government of repression, demand dismissal of police chief. Ex-President George Weah arrives at the Monrovia City Court ahead of Kofa's and other trial. Heavy security presence disrupt Capitol Hill operation ahead of lawmakers' court appearance. We want to look at, in particular, a particular headline that everybody should have an interest in. It says here, the Central Bank of Liberia is accused of targeting former Speaker Kofa. And
so, Mr. Gimme, welcome.
Welcome, sir. Welcome. Reading some of the headline in your home country.
Okay. Thank you.
In the city of Monrovia, the nation's capital, one that caught my attention is the central bank accused of targeting former Speaker Kofa, opposition lawmakers through insurance directive. And we got that document. We're going to be reading it. Myean, you were on the ground. You follow the issue. You follow the happenings. You were interviewing folks. Give us an update. Those of us in the diaspora, what is happening in Liberia? How was it today? How was the feeling on the ground?
Okay, so Mr. Gimme, thank you, and thanks ever so much to our viewer and our listeners. So let me bring her up to speed from Friday update, where I cover all of the live happening. It was so interesting from Friday. We had a tough time with the Liberia National Police and the media, but with the working relationship, everything was okay. Everything was put under control. It just like we had some tough time during our live broadcast and there. But let me bring our viewers, our listeners up to speed if you were not following from Friday up to present. So I would just like to bring us up to speed because I followed the entire process. I was going live from the Temple of Justice. I was going live from the Monrovia Central Prison and also from the Liberia National Police, where the former speaker and others representatives who were invited at the Monrovia Central Prison, that's the Liberia National Police headquarters, on Friday, where all of them were in number. 7 persons were there, and out of the 7, 2 persons were set free. Honorable Marvin Cole and Honorable Frank Safoko of District Number 9, Moswara County, were set free on that same Friday, and they all left home happy. And when we interviewed Honorable Frank Safoko on that same Friday, he said that that the former speaker is going to walk out like he was walking out. But unfortunately, we never came across any of such. And at the end of the day, we heard that the former speaker and others will be sent to the Monrovia Central Prison. On what ground, we did not get the information. But late evening, we were told that the former speaker and others will be sent to court on Saturday, where they were sent at the Temple of Justice, the city court. And after everything, the government denied the bond that was filed by the legal counsel of the former speaker and others, and it was denied by the government. So on that backdrop, other citizens and some residents were giving their mixed view. Why should the former speaker and others bond be denied by the government? So from that, we started to hear citizens making their view that the government want to score a political goal, or they want to use it out of as a political term, wherein they will give some instances with the former Chief Justice Guar Musu Scott and others cases where they give instance with the former governor Salif, who was sent to jail, and other past government officials on that same issue. So with that, on Saturday evening, it was when we covered the former speaker was going at the Monrovia Central Prison, and with that, we covered that event from the Temple of Justice when he was leaving, and we asked him, Honorable Fonati Kofa, where are you going? He said he was going at the Monrovia Central Prison. On what ground he did not inform the media. So we were at the Monrovia Central Prison where we cover all of the activity, even up to Sunday. The former vice president and the former president of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency, former President George Manawiya, and former Vice President Joao Tito went and paid a courtesy visit to them on Sunday, where we saw other media institutions were there, and we covered that story, where the former president made a statement that on Monday they are going to try to file the bond to see whether they are going to accept it. And also today, where we saw them, the former president was at the Temple of Justice City Court, where he went to sign the bond, and we saw CMC political leader on Musa Hassan Berete was also there. We saw the presence of Mood political leader on D. Maswa Kemea was there, and we also saw ANC political leader on Alexander Bene Kumis were all in attendance today at the city court, where they all went to sign the book. That's the bond for the former speaker and others. So with that, we went at the Monrovia Central Prison. After they have signed, the former president left on his way home at his non-script residence, where we saw on Musa Hassan Berede, because of his presence, it was when the media followed him at the Monrovia Central Prison. And when he was coming out, I was the first person who asked him how was the visit and what do you expect from his colleague coming out today. And he made a statement that the colleague will work out in few seconds. We saw his colleague come out, the former speaker and others came out, and they accepted the bond today. But we're hoping to see. We saw the bond, the entire statement from the court today was public on our page, where they accepted the bond, but they are going to show a specific time where they will resume at the court to carry on the entire process, where the legal representation of both parties will be there to argue, and then we are going to cover that event. So, Mr. Gimme, we've been following the happenings there and other training issue, but from Friday up to present, the main training issue is what I've given you, just a gist on. So as we move on, we are going to bring you latest information from our end here in Liberia.
Excellent, excellent. Let's look at the mood in the city. How was the mood today in the city and around the city?
From the main city in Monrovia, we saw the atmosphere was that kind of security protocol were all intact. Everywhere you go, you will see police officer, you will see police vehicle passing through. So when the former president was on his way to sign the bond, we saw some citizens in numbers were coming from the party headquarters on their way. When they reached around 24th Street, it was when the former president have already signed, and it was how they told citizens to come back, to turn around and come back, because we saw that atmosphere when they were moving. Every point they reach or every junction they reach, people keep adding on them. People keep adding on them. So the momentum will keep growing. It kept growing until they reached at the 24th Street. Until that political leader told them to turn around and come back, because they have already signed the bond so that the former speaker and order can be released. But the atmosphere from the Pinsville single bell all the way to Congotan, going as far as Monrovia, the atmosphere was not bad. But with the protester, that's what made everything started to change. But the government saw it necessary that with the kind of number that were coming out today, that's why they agreed to sign the bond.
Okay, take me to the Monrovia Central Prison. What was the feel How did they look? How were they received when they were exiting the Monrovia City Prison or Central Prison or South Beach, wherever they were?
The former speaker and others.
Yes.
Yeah, so when when the former speaker came out, when he stepped out first, we saw a huge number of supporters. Where the first person who came and put our crowd was on a Moses Akara grade, where we had some cultural performances were going on, and he put our crowd and came with a vehicle, or music were playing in a vehicle, or political song were playing in a vehicle, and we saw women came out in huge number cheering him, and they were singing together, dancing together. And the moment we saw the former speaker, we saw that a huge crowd from in coming out to see the former speaker, and everyone were excited. Like on Sunday, the community dwellers were excited to see the former president, but unfortunately, we could not get them from in a vehicle. But still, the people were still shouting with his name. Likewise, today, the people were celebrating. They were happy to see the former speaker out today, and we saw that crowd. People were jubilating from all angles. People even left from the market, coming to the Monrovia Central Prison to see the former speaker, because some market women were making a statement that if the former speaker is not released on today, they are going to come out in full number. They are going to put their children outside. They are going to put their babies outside to see that the former speaker be released. So people were asking, it is because of the partnership. They said no, because they are witch hunting political leader in this country. So because of that, they cannot accept it. So we saw a huge number at the Monrovia Central Prison today.
Excellent. Now, there are, as you can see in my hand here, I got all the breaking news and all the headlines in Liberia. We can't go through all of them, but let's look at. I think the folks were, some people were accusing the White House government and the police, Gregory Como, as their action being premeditated, and people thought it was only political until Front Page Africa broke this news, which is this one here. It says here, Liberia Central Bank accused of targeting former Speaker Kofa, opposition lawmaker, through new insurance directive. And I will read real briefly. It said, a directive from the Central Bank of Liberia obtained by Front Page Africa has placed a freeze on the issuance of court bonds by commercial banks and insurance companies without prior rating clearance from its insurance department, effectively preventing several lawmakers currently facing criminal charges, including former Speaker Mr. Fonati Kofa, for securing a bill. This is what the folks are saying. This is what the news Front Page Africa had discovered, and they have the directive here. Isn't this a news that gave those who said that this thing was already set up against these folks, that they cannot get a fair judgment in this case? Wouldn't this be vindicating those who said this thing was planned, it was orchestrated already? We got a note here from the central bank telling everybody to not give bonds to these folks.
So, Mr. Gamer, with that information, we from the day we heard that the former speaker and others were going at the court, people started to think about bond. Where we received our information, it was alleged that the vice president. The vice president placed a call, and the president even placed a call that no one should allow them to accept the bond for the former speaker and others. We received that information on Saturday. So the on that background was when they were denied and they were sent, because from that it was when people started to think about the government want to score a political grade, or they want to score a political goal on the opposition, because they had that same thing happening during the former president regime, where they targeted certain people who were in the opposition. So because of that, that's the same debt they want to pay. So they just wanted to set that record to say, oh yes, the former president or the former speaker were put in jail for so and so reason for that awesome attack at the Capitol building. So because of that, that's why they did it. But people were assuming that the central bank could help them in the process. But unfortunately, according to time on Saturday, we heard that they denied the bond from the former speaker legal counsel.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into the closing argument on Monday. We have our young, aspiring journalist, Mr. Myean, is here. He covered all the stories here. He covered all the events, and he's giving us firsthand notice, firsthand information on what he saw, what he recorded, what he printed. This is where we are. We heard from the directive of the central bank. The central bank governor, as we understand it to be, is a nephew, very close relative to the president. So here he is doing the bidding of his uncle. Everybody, most people that know Joseph Walker know him to be very vindictive. And here he is using his relatives, using family members, using the central bank to do his bidding. And the excuse is they are saying everything that happened or allegedly happened to any member of the Unity Party during the George Weah time, they are going to do the same thing. So if hopefully we are back on the air. I don't know what's happening in Monrovia, but if you are in Monrovia, give me a signal that you are watching me, that you are live. Myean, if you are having technical difficulties, let us know. I have no clue what happened, but I just got dropped off the air. Hopefully I am back. I'm seeing myself in the studio. So let's continue. The measure issued on May the 16th, 2025, under the directive of number CBLIDDRR 00112025 mandates that any institution wishing to issue a court bond must first receive formal approval from the Liberia Central Bank Insurance Department. This is directly from the Liberian Central Bank. And I'm going to read this again. This particular measure was issued on May the 16th. We are talking about since last month, about 3 weeks ago. There are people that were in the know that this day was coming. That these men and women were going to be charged and they were going to be looking for bond. The central bank, whose president or director, whatever you call him, is a nephew of the president is now doing the bidding of the president. The process requires insurers to submit notarized and certified audited financial statement along with a full report of outstanding bond issue prior to any new request. The directive took immediate effect and has since disrupted the legal process for multiple lawmakers who were recently remanded into custody. These include Kofa from Grand Crew, Abu Bana Kamara, Monserrato District number 15, Dixon Wulauli, Sibo, Monserrato County District number 16, and Jacob C. Debbie, Grand Julia County District number 3. The four were incarcerated at the Monroe City Prison Saturday following their second court appearance in connection with a December 18, 2024 arson attack on the Capitol building. Are we talking about conspiracy here? The last time I checked, there was something about conspiracy among the charges that were filed against the lawmakers. The Central Bank of Liberia, the Liberia National Police, the Liberia Justice Department, and the court has conspired to make these gentlemen and women look bad, knowing fully well that they will have needed bonds of all kinds to get out. He did this, and no one can convince me that the Central Bank of Liberia is issuing no bond order immediately, effectively, since the 16th of May. No one can convince me or any rational person that this is not premeditated against these folks. The measure was issued on May the 16th, 3 weeks ago, under the directive of the central bank. It mandated that all financial institutions basically should not issue bonds. This is 3 weeks ago. They knew that this day was coming, that these people would be charged. And upon being charged, they would need to post bills. And the central bank knew this. You cannot tell me that the police, the central bank, the court, and the justice ministry, you can't tell me that they are independently working without knowing what's happening here. Let me go to Honorable Pewee, who is a diplomat. Maybe he has a way around talking, making these things to look nice. Maybe I'm not as diplomatic as he is. But Honorable Pewee, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very kindly. I'm very delighted to be here this wonderful Monday afternoon. We want to put it almost Monday evening. Yeah, I'm happy to be on the show. On a serious note.
I know it's comical to some degree.
No, nothing.
It would have been more comical if people's lives were not on the line. But for the man who comes from a solid background of our jurisprudence, our foreign diplomacy, foreign service, when I woke up and went through the headlines, and then when I finally went back to the central bank being accused for targeting, and I'm saying to myself, Where are we headed? This is something like the Jim Crow day. We're talking about going way back in the South, under the Totman era, where people get, people who aspire to be anything in government, Totman will make sure you either disappear, you get incarcerated, you make your life totally miserable. And this is where we are, Chief. It says here, a directive from the Central Bank of Liberia, obtained by Front Page Africa, has placed a freeze on issuance of court bonds by commercial banks and insurance companies without prior rating clearance from its insurance department at the central bank. And you talk about conspiracy?
You know, my a big brother and the mentor I referred to, that's why he normally can say it's going to be difficult to see how we're going to fix this country. I'm not going to call his name, but he said this every day. It's going to be a bit difficult to see how. And I sometimes can say to him, probably maybe the generation of our kids or their kids may change that, but I don't think this time, because the country is just a difficult terrain, a difficult area to want to find yourself at this stage. It's unfortunate that we have, and I think before I move forward, it is important to remind our lawmakers, particularly those folks that were just incarcerated for the past 3 days, and they are lawmakers also, so that they will have to sit after this process and revisit portion of our law to see how they can push and lobby their colleagues to do some amendment in some of the critical laws of our country, particularly this bail bond issue related to the central bank and all those things. We have to, because the law should be the law. And that's where we all can always, a cliche now in Liberia, the law is the law, the law is the law, the law should be the law. Granted, if the law is the law, arson is a biddable offense. It should take absolutely no one held on a set charges that should be struggling or folks trying to politicize giving them bail bond. It is very much unfortunate and unacceptable. And I don't want us to push the country into this kind of a political situation. Then it's going to be tick for tack. We expect tomorrow, if this were to unfold, then you expect the next government coming to say, okay, we're going to do this to the past official on the basis of politics to politicize this issue. I don't think that's the most prudent thing to do if we were to revert to this kind of a backward tendency instead of respecting and regarding the rule of law. If we were to regard the rule of law in the country, it is the basis for the country rapidly moving or forging ahead. But we are not. We focus too much on politics and this issue for tick for tat, and we neglect our responsibility as constituted authority to protect and defend the constitution of our country. And this is quite unfortunate. And I believe the entire fracas that unfolded this weekend, again, I think if you were to, I listened to the police director this morning on the state broadcast institution. I believe he's very well compromised. And it's unfortunate to have a police director of his age to merge himself more deeper into partisan politics. I thought he should be professional, and it's important that we ought to be. And I listened to the police director the day this awesome alleged awesome situation unfolded, or when the fire got at the Capitol building, if you will. And immediately when the president spoke, because he arrived there along with the president. He didn't arrive there, he arrived there. But this era was then, I think, was under the control of the Liberia National Police for more than 2 weeks before this unfortunate situation happened. Now, on the watch of the Liberia National Police, that's one. The very day the situation unfolded, he arrived there on the interim of the president. Unfortunately, he didn't move as the police would conduct the investigation. Immediately when the president spoke that this was perpetrated by some of those other people, basically you're referring to the other side of the thing from the former speaker at the time, and then the police chief came and insinuated the same. And there I knew that we were headed for a problem. And then when they did all of the investigations, everything whatsoever, right? So they came out eventually. First, they were linking about 7, 8 presidents. They let go a few other guys, and they charged, I think, the 4 or 5 presidents. What I'm saying here is that the way the police chief is just find the lead of the president of the republic, exactly what is unfolding. And he said today that this case is highly political. So if you listen to a police chief saying that the case is political, it's on strict instruction. You either follow our lead or you get out, right? So, and this a man that is, he's been pushing for this job for a very long time. He loved this job. And the rest of the reason why we wouldn't go into that. But what I'm saying, my own frustration is, why can't we allow the law to unfold? And that's the basis of where we are today, to say we are having a constitutional democracy. The reason why we fought a devastating civil crisis was because we didn't regard the law yesterday. If we want to be selective in trying to implement the process about upholding the law, then we had a problem. And then if you charge gay men for this crime, if it is buildable, allow gay men to get his lawyer and seek the appropriate bail bond. There should be nobody trying to manipulate this system or trying to slow walk this system deliberately because we want to see gay men go to jail. This is unacceptable, and that's why you see there where the problem can always come in the kind of a poor African countries. There was sometimes we have to have situation then when if it degenerate, it become more cataclysmic in terms of Henry. We push beyond those kind of a situation and other things. So it is more or less a difficult process to comprehend now that we try to do to prove that we want certain people go to jail because we want to delay. No, it shouldn't be on the basis of that. Sylvester Pewee should go to jail on the basis of the crime he committed. If he cannot file an appropriate bail bond or he's been found guilty by a competent court of record, competent court of law should punish me on the basis of the law that I violated, not on the basis of sentiment. If we were to engage the process of implementing the law on the basis of sentiments, then I think we headed for a problem in the country. And I think it's not a good day for us. And I hope that we can help to clean some of these things moving forward.
Let's look at what one of the legal luminaries said. He said, this is no longer simply a criminal matter. It's now become all politics. The analyst said, the timing of the central bank directive and its effect on certain lawmakers, particularly those in opposition or critical of the current administration, is highly suspect. Mr. Wiese added that a directive amounts to an indirect form of detention by a financial decree, when the regulatory agency with no judicial authority effectively blocks access to bail. We are entering dangerous territory where the separation of powers begin to collapse. This is a legal luminary who is saying exactly what you were saying, based on the police chief himself saying, this is basically non-judicial or less of a judicial matter, but a political matter. It brings us back to the Supreme Court, where they say, we will not listen to the Supreme Court because our issue is political and the Supreme Court has no... You see where this is going?
Oh, yes. And part of the reason why I'm trying to I've defended I'm one person that normally advocated pastime for the Liberian National Police via the Neo Progressive Movement. We thought at the time Chris Massacre headed the police, and during the time his able deputy, one of the deputies, A.B. Kromah, Conor Monba, the current 101, he was then the 101. I mean, we set the stage to push the process about community policing. We thought the Liberian National Police was engaged with the folks in showing that the way they should, because it's the first phase of the criminal justice start with the police. They will have to go to do the preliminary investigations and come up with findings of those investigations and carry out the charges in consultation basically with their lawyers or the Ministry of Justice. Because the Ministry of Justice will have to collaborate with the police to ensure that all of those charges coming in from the police, that charges that will match the weight of evidence. If they got evidence that they will collect, and they show that the Justice Ministry will move and win this case, they will look into that. And I thought that's the kind of a line. We've been through the thing of the months now. We do understand these are criminal charges, and we have to basically move to ensure that these charges should not be trumped-up charges. And we have to come on the basis of the findings from the investigations before the police can move and take any further decision. But the way we're seeing things unfold, and the way because it took them a very protracted period of time, if you will, before they came out with this so-called made-up charges against this lawmaker. Listen, I have no reason to comment on to justify or support anyone here if I see there's no reason to do that. But we've been concerned about this situation whenever. So the fact that the police chief himself and the rank and file of the Liberian National Police or the prosecution team from the angle of the Ministry of Justice didn't do justice to this process, to apply miscarriage of justice back, coming up and fictitiously charge these people. It's troubling for me. And beyond the charges and the way they went about it to prove a case that Fanati Kofa and the rest of the folks went to jail, right? Went to jail because of this. We try to build them and prove that they did this. It doesn't add up. The point is that if you really believe that Mr. Kofa and the rest of the folks are guilty, or the evidence you have, the sufficiency of the evidence is unconscionable, you allow the rule of law, the justice system to play it out. You don't manipulate the central bank to play delay tactics here to show that you're trying to subdue someone in keeping with having them punished. No, I don't think it's the country we want to see our children move to. So I think quickly, if I would say this here, it's troubling. It's a troubling development, and we all should condemn it. But I'm open to the system of them allowing them to go to court. And I listened to the former speaker today. He said they are prepared. They're going to come out to prove they are innocent, and by that they will build the requisite case to trash out all of those trump out charges that was whatsoever placed on them, and now the case is in court. We look forward. One thing I will on here quickly, that the Ministry of Justice should ensure, or the court should ensure, or the prosecution will have to push and expedite this case because it's a major. And I would hope that their lawyers should push for that, for what we call speedy and fair trial, so that we can come to the conclusion of this case and move the country forward. But they will have to look into it as with the bill bomb thing. They, as legislators, can lobby their colleagues, see as to how they can do some changes to that process, and show that the very prison they say is not that habitable for other ordinary Liberians. They will have to pump some money in the budget to make that area a very habitable area, right? Prison is not death sentence. We need to improve the conditions in our prison system, particularly the only proper prison we have in the country, and all of the other smaller ones we have across the 15 political subdivision of the country.
Thank you. Welcome to Sarah Should I pronounce it the Liberia way, Sarah? Sarah?
But listen, it's unfair. Don't be calling the woman Sarah. That way you can begin. You can't say we call it Sarah. Mama Sarah, Auntie Sarah, Sister Sarah.
Anyway, you call it, I don't care. Sarah, whatever.
Okay, Miss Sarah, how you doing, ma'am?
I am awesome. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? Thank you for the show. Thank you for holding the ground. I've been following. You've been doing great. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Ahmed. Finally, you got your earphone. You look like you're ready for the fight today.
No, I'm waiting for the cow. The cow.
They took the cow back. Georgia had 2 cows.
Maybe we'll go to the topic. Liberia, interesting country.
The country is so interesting.
The cow thing, I don't take over the whole place today.
The country is too interesting. I'm telling you.
Don't be surprised if the cow get missing in the mix here. So don't worry. 2 cows just going back and forth.
Yeah, I think you must say they carry the cow to Grenada finally. The cow leave for Grenada.
Let the Grenada eat it.
Welcome, Mr. Victor Namwe.
But they say they had the 2 hair for the cow. Be careful for the progressive.
Is that what it is? Oh, yeah. yes. The bigger, that's why former Chief Zanzakawa, I went to meet with Zanzakawa real quick. I said, Zanzakawa, I'm afraid because you got that cartel in your hand. I said, so I'm scared to come near you. He said, your Bassa people, you're eating the most dangerous part of the cow, the head with the horn on it. You scared. I didn't tell you can't be afraid of. And I said, you kidding me? He said, yes. He said, you guys are crazy. You eat a cow head. You scared with the horn, everything that the tail here will scare you. Mr. Namwe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. It's good to be here. Let me welcome with listeners as well. Thank you for joining us. As always, don't forget to share the show. Invite your friend. Let them invite a friend. Let's have fun. But it's good to be here.
Great. I see Jan Mabaro here. I see Mike Lincoln. I see Fix Electronics. I see Kegati pass away. Is that how you call it? Pass away. And I see Said Gungunu. I mean, we got a lot of folks here. We recognize you as we go along. I know it's late in Liberia, staying up in Washington. It's an honor. Ms. Sarah, let me read this here. It said the situation intensified over the weekend when the Monrovia City Court issued a writ of lawyer is N-E-X-E-A-T Republican, barring all 5 lawmakers implicated in the case, including Representative Priscilla Cooper, Monserrate District Number 5, who has not been detained, and either one of them from leaving the country. Then they said the writ granted by stipendiary Magistrate Ben Bako direct national security agencies to arrest any of these accused lawmakers attempting to leave Liberia. While such rates are standard in major criminal cases, critics argue that combined with the bond restriction, it underscores a coordinated attempt to detain indefinitely without trial if need be. This looks like a calculated legal and financial strategy to silence certain lawmakers, said a human rights attorney. It may be constitutional on paper, but it is questionable in spirit. Ms. Dopo.
That's right.
Here we are. I like what the former speaker says. He said, we are going to deconstruct, to take it apart piece by piece. So here we are. We are not lawyers, but we are deconstructing this. We see the police chief say it is more of a political case. We see the judge saying, don't let them out of the country by any means. We see the central bank 3 weeks ago knew that this day was coming. They decided that nobody should issue bond unless he, through him, the president's nephew, your take on this issue. Can we get a fair trial in Liberia in this case?
I mean, it is glaring. Nobody need to go to school, or even the ABC students I can just look at the case and know that we cannot get a fair trial. Everything the government hand is in this case all over from beginning to end. They're not going to get a fair trial except the Liberian people really stand up. And I believe in the Liberian people. I know they're going to do it, because this is the same thing they wanted to do today. We heard news that they wanted to even postpone their release until tomorrow. But the Liberian people had to stand up. The political leaders had to, the opposition leaders had to stand up. And today found out that they were able to release them. So, for some reason, I don't know what the Joseph Boakai government is up to, but they were just not too long ago. They just got to the UN seat. They just got that UN seat not too long ago. And because of that seat, they have to show to the world that our country is peaceful. Our country abide by the rules and regulations, the constitution, the law of the land. And I don't see them doing that. They are going contrary to the seat that they were dancing all around here for. We saw all of them dancing, UNC. Now it has come for them to prove themselves. They are just doing the wrong thing. So we wait to see how it's going to be. But I can tell you for a fact, these people are not going to get a fair trial. Their hands, the government hands is all over this case. All over the case. They're not going to get a fair trial.
Ahmed, if my Latin serve me right, is this fait accompli? Is this basically a done deal? The government know what they want to do. They know what they're going to do. And they're just going through the motion here? You are muted.
As we have emphasized that it takes much more than the laws or facts to prosecute such a high sensitive case. You must be able to as well as deal with the issue of perception out here. So what is going to happen in the next few days is not going to be Fanatic Kofa on trial. It's going to be our entire justice and judicial system. And there is a very thin line oftentimes between our justice system and politics. Of course, of political parties, political people will always want to ultimately use cases to score political points. For Boakai and his people in their mind, regardless of how it is want to say, look, we can hold people accountable. And once that becomes the mentality, once that becomes the mindset, it means that there will be strong effort to influence the outcome of the result. And so to do so, you give different signals, you get different you manipulate, you get different manipulation. For example, perhaps the facts do exist, but the crime under consideration they agree. Yes, it requires investigation, it requires holding people accountable. But when you take people to the police station, having had all the facts, and you take them at night and you create a shadow approach in arresting them, why go through all of that? It's simple all the way. When police have enough reason to arrest you, they come up, whether you to your house, whether you to your office, they come and tell you, like, you're on arrest for so things. They do these things because you want to create a transparent process. But when you start from the very stage of the process, you start to create processes that give people reason to doubt. Then what you expect people to speculate, and that's where we are now. So we try to separate our concern that the case could be politicized or it is being politicized from our also commitment to having the corporate held accountable. When you do so without to show whether your intent is actually to ensure justice, we then think that your goal is to do two things: effect punishment or vengeance, or two, to score political points. You don't score political points in the execution of justice, and so that's where we are all concerned. But most importantly, I think that's where we need to highlight is that the accused Kofa is upbeat that he has the capacity legally to deconstruct the lies that he think are being meted out against him. Even though the burden of proof rests on the government now, they must prove beyond all reasonable doubt that these people were, as you say, conspirators and facilitators of the crime. We think that rests on them. Look, Liberia has a long history of allowing politics to influence the justice system. I would think that many of us are hope that quote unquote the rescue approach will do that. But when you undermine and refuse to accept ruling from the Supreme Court, we don't know how much faith, how much respect, how much commitment you have in the process. So in short, when we raise the concern that there is political interference, we do not come from the background that we do not think people should be held accountable for what happened at the Capitol. We think people should be held accountable. Those who commit that crime must bear the weight of the law. But we think that as serious as the crime is, require a complete balance of any political interference. And let me tell you finally, perception is a very critical point in making of justice. If the people do not believe that the processes that lead to holding somebody accountable, if they do not believe in it, then you have undermined justice. You made it illegitimate. And so the burden now rests still on the Barker administration to see how far to carry. This is not the best place. This is not a place to score political points. Let us, the Liberia people, are interested in knowing what happened to the capital, and that should be the focus.
Thank you. Mr. Nyenwolo, real quick, I got a question for you, but it just a fait accompli, like we say. Is this a done deal? The government, the police chief already said it. This has basically little to do with judicial system. This is a political case. Are you watching these guys being the judge, jury, and executioner here? They have already found these guys guilty. No matter what, they're going to put them in jail. Have you any thought on whether they can get a fair trial?
Well, again, it's good to be here. Quickly, let me give a shout out to my Liberian Catholic brother and sister Knights in the Americas. We assemble this weekend in Minnesota. We do that once every 12 months, where we identify a project for and on behalf of the Catholic Church of Liberia. And we've been doing this for quite a while. This year, we're undertaking a scholarship project for needy students. And so it was great being in Minnesota. What's up to my brothers and sisters? I've tried to follow this thing for a little time that I had while I was in Minnesota. And the answer to your question is no. I think there is an attempt that is being made, but it will happen, or it will succeed if we let it. And I think this is where we all need to band together and resist. Let me commend the government of Liberia for doing what we have been asking for all along. If you think you have enough evidence worthy of bringing charges against these people, you should do so. Bring the charges, take them to court, and let the case stand on its own merit. Stop all the undue interferences. First of all, let me express my disappointment on what happened on Friday. I think it's a clear attempt to weaponize the justice system. They invited these people in the morning. They let them sit there. They did nothing with them until all the other places where they could have gone to process bond were closed. These are our old tactics. We've seen them.
It was intentional.
Yeah, exactly. And so when those places closed, then of course, knowing that there will be no court on Saturday, no court on Sunday, and all of this is a calculated attempt to demean and diminish the stature of these people. You're talking about a former speaker of the Republic of Liberia, and this is concerning. This government seems to have no respect for people who have served this country. I mean, talking about Samuel Johnson and his diatribes against this president, the former president of the Republic of Liberia. He mounts the podium anytime and open his little mouth, and he thinks he's the big man. He's equal to the former president. No, you're not. And this seems to be a pattern. I don't care who the person is or who the person was. If they occupy a position and serve on behalf of the country, I think they should be accorded all of the courtesy. They did this thing also to Musu Scott under this previous government, and we condemned it. I think respect should be given where it is due. So yeah, they went and put these people in prison and let them stay over the weekend. However, we're happy with the fact that the wheels of justice seem to be turning now. Of course, what you're alluding to is something we're also watching as to whether this process is going to proceed fairly, and it should, it must. We will insist. I don't care whether Kofa is guilty or not, or whether Sakova, whoever. I don't care. I am interested in making sure that these little things that are keeping this country back, we continue to fix these little kinks and straighten out our country. I don't care who is in power. I don't care who is in power. If the CMC that I'm advocating for tomorrow and they come to power and begin to behave this way, I will also speak up. If you have charges, charge the person, take them to court, let them go through the process. If they're found guilty, send them to jail. If they're not found guilty, send them home. You know, all this nonsense about keeping people forever and ever and then carrying in, and then you're going to give the people, you're going to give them bond anyway. So now what has happened between Friday and today? Nothing except grandstanding and an attempt to flex muscle, you know? And this is really uncalled for. Like Sarah indicated, you just want a seat on the Security Council. You are now a big boy sitting with the big boys and big girls on a big table. And you're coming back here, you're acting, you're still coming and eating, you know, what do we call it, foreigner, whatever, like the kids back in the back room. We need to stop this nonsense. So yes, I think there's an attempt being made here, but I think it depends on how well we resist, and I think we have to resist it. Let me commend those political leaders who have not allowed this to go unattended. You know, they have gone there, whether it is Sunday, whether it is Saturday. The former president of Liberia, the political leader of the ANC, the political leader of MOVE, the political leader of CMC, and all others who are coming together. I think they should continue to stand with these people. Let them take them to court. Take the people to court. Let them go in and plead their case. If you find them guilty, that's different. If you have the evidence, bring it. You know. But no, I don't think this is supposed to stand, and we will not allow it to stand.
Great, Honorable Pewee. You know, before I like to do my homework, I like to do my research. So I kind of scanned the different papers, and I came across this. And this paper now tends to lean the government's way, and that's the Liberian Daily Observer. And this is their headline. It said, how the lawyers blunder kept Kofa and others behind bars. They are not blaming the government amidst all the evidence we are talking about. The Daily Observer writes, this is saddening. Said an embarrassing legal blunder occurred on Saturday, June 7, in Montserrat City Court, when lawyer representing former Speaker J. Fodati Kofa and 3 other lawmakers who are suspect in a fire that gutted parts of the Capitol last December, charged with arson. The suspect appeared in courtroom without a bond for the kid, described as an attack on the country's democracy. This triggered a wave of backwardness and caused the court to order them, the lawmaker, immediately remanded at the Monroe City Prison, where they would remain unless their lawyer could correct their errors by trying to file the requisite criminal appearance bond. This is a national newspaper, one of the once very respected newspaper. This man these people are looking at what we are looking at. And they are telling her the reason they spend time in jail is that their lawyer is incompetent. The lawyer knew these people are going to go to jail and they didn't bring bonds with them.
The original owner of the founder of that paper, he was still around. That nonsense wouldn't have been in the paper.
Right? Best?
Yes, it wouldn't have been, right, on the serious note. But again, let me say
I mean, Sylvester, if you mean he may not be, you know, directly involved in the day-to-day room, but Kenneth White is still alive.
I mean, stay around. But he's not. That's what I'm saying. He's still around. He's not. Okay. He's not part of the management. He's not the managing editor no longer. He don't have any editorial decision making process on the paper. Right. That's what I meant. Right. So I think he passed it over to his son and other thing. Maybe. But here's what I would say after that. Listen, one of the accused is one of the best lawyer we have in Liberia. One of the accused, one of the best, very smart lawyer we have, very, very smart. He would know what you do. But let me say this to you: the fact that the police started the whole game thing, right? Because I don't think a lawyer want to run to start finding a billboard. You don't know the charges your client have.
That's correct.
That's one of the things, right? So, so you have to. So maybe I would just rob up a lawyer. I will say, okay, give me this bond and other thing. I don't know what they're going to charge my client with. Well, but I think they played the game. They want the reason why they invited these guys on the weekend. It was the intent was to embarrass them and send them to jail. That's the intent. And that's why the police chief said this political. He was instructed. The police chief said to us clearly that this is political. I was instructed to handle it politically, right? And that's what he did. The police, trust me, this case is going to embarrass the government. I believe sincerely that the government got no outcome to win this case. And the way they went about it, they tried to politicize it, and they tried to weaponize the Justice Department of the country against a major political adversary or opponent, if you will. This is just quite unfortunate. And the editorial decision of that reporter that did that story, I think he just a dumb reporter, didn't just understand the basic thing that was unfolding relative to this case. That and again, it's obvious that most of the papers, sometimes the government people can get them out and just, many times in the country, headlines can be directed by the government in some cases. There are some media institutions that will be totally under the government on partisan process as the government will instruct as to how to go about it, what not to do, all things. Because it is difficult in the country. Only the government got the money.
And in that Inquirer newspaper is one of them.
No, this is Data Observer.
Oh, Data Observer is one of them.
So it's just quite unfortunate on that. I thought they didn't do a good story.
Ms. Dropo, in the United States here, usually when the prosecution has very limited case, what they tend to do is overkill. Just charge all the charges you can think about. Hopefully one will stick. In this case, it says here, Representative Abu Kamara and Jacob Debbie, the police claim participated in planning meetings and facilitated logistical support. They are charged under the revised Penal Code of Liberia, arson, Chapter 15, Section 15.1, criminal mischief, Chapter 15, Section 15.5, recklessly endangering another person, Chapter 14, Section 1423, criminal attempt to commit murder, Chapter 10, Section 10.1, criminal facilitation, Chapter 10, Section 10.2, criminal solicitation, Chapter 10, Section 10.3, and criminal conspiracy. You name it, everything in the book, they have it on these folks. They are hoping that something will stick. I'm talking about the whole, when they, when they say we throw the book at you, this is it. Can you remember all these things I just read here? That's why they are charging Abu Kamara and he guys planning, facilitating, logistical support. Which one the logistical support in setting fire? Your take on the charges with on these folks?
I don't know. I think what they're referring to was the AI video that Bapulu prepared. I don't know Bapulu or whatever his name is prepared, and then certain people were talking, and that. I mean, if they're gonna have to prove all of those charges. They're gonna have to prove it in court, and it's gonna be difficult for them. It's really gonna be difficult for them. So I don't know. And like the IG said, it's political. The whole thing is political. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna take that route. They're gonna take that political, route and falsify a lot of things just to prove their point. But it's gonna be difficult for them to prove this case. I mean, that's my honest opinion. I mean, they're just gonna show both with everything, flex their muscles like they did all the. Why invite people from 10 o'clock in the morning, and you knew within yourself that you're not gonna have anything for them? Make them to stay there until 5 o'clock, and when everywhere is closed, and then you end up sending them to jail. This is ridiculous, and this is that was intentional. They did it intentionally. They wanted to prove a point, And today the guys came out, they look like heroes. The entire country celebrates them. Whatever the achievement was, they did not, whatever they intended to achieve, they did not get it. They did not get it until they brought their cow story in the picture. They did not get what they wanted because these lawmakers appear to be heroes and the entire country celebrated it. These guys are just out there to destroy our country. That's just it. They're not see the people brought them in the country, they elected them to rescue. Just as they rescue, it's gonna be difficult for them.
Thank you. Let me welcome Dr. Peabody. Peabody, how you doing now?
Oh, Peabody in the country, yeah?
I'm well, Doc. I'm well. Good to see everybody. Good to see you, Sylvester.
Peabody, yeah.
You know, we've been running. It's not that I was leaving you guys. I ain't leaving, but I just been so crazy, man. I've been crazy.
Your daughter graduating, they gotta do
great. Yeah, I think people are busy with the graduation.
Congratulations.
No, man. Thank you. It was good made, man. We just planning for the party and traveling, and I had guests coming these few days, so I've been transporting them back and forth. So it's been really busy.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Good to see everybody, man. I mean, you guys been doing a fabulous work, man. Mr. Gilman, all you guys been doing great. I've been following, man. And so you guys been doing great to keep it on. That means I don't have to be a Tomalin. Any one of you guys can rule the thing. That's what the closing argument is for. Anybody can rule it. That's what it's for. You know.
Listen, you at least when you say you were following that means that you are in a loop. So when we say something happened, you can't say. But now let's I'm good. There's a very interesting topic here that we need to look at. It says here it has something to do with the system also. Towards U.S. $6 million corruption case is in limbo. That is on the front pages of the paper today. Also, so,
No, I said these are the distractions they want us to have, so we can look at the things that are going on behind.
That's correct. We're going to come back to it because it has something to do with the court. Okay, here we are. These people have so many investigations going, and not once have they come and said we have completed this. This guy going to jail. This one. They just have all the loose ends. When the Supreme Court ruled against them that they could not get rid of these tenured people. They said acting director here, acting director there, acting. So everybody in the nation is acting. So they have not concluded that. But let me go to the opposition. Opposition leader decry police premeditated move against Kofa and others. Just what we said. Mobilize supporters to peacefully assemble at the Temple of Justice today in solidarity with their detained. They did. If Dr. Peabody were watching, Myean was on here and he gave his take because he covered the whole thing. What do you think? What do you make finally of the political leaders in the opposition coming together in solidarity? Is this something that's going to last, or there's another CP? I don't call it CM. What was it? CPP? Yeah. Is that one of the things that at the end they're all going to fall apart and all that? Is that where we're going?
Well, you talking to me?
Yeah. What is your take on this coalition?
Look, I really hope that they stay together because, you know, working together will give you guys a better, a lot of opportunity. It will give you a leverage. You know, as a team, you'll do a whole lot together. They'll do a whole lot together as a team. But not working together as a team, you know, the problem is, I always say our situation here is trust. You know, when people come together, like how the Unity Party betrayed Mr. Cummins to the last. It was one of the worst we ever saw. They didn't even rest, but they took him to court. You know, you have President Barkat, I mean, dragging himself to court just to go and say in court and say he didn't know Mr. Cummins and all of that. So, you know, and at the end of the day, if you don't have anybody in that opposition that is so greedy and want to be, I mean, they will do a whole lot together, you know, and that's the only way they can defeat the incumbent, unless the party, they stay together as a team. If they don't stay together as a team, you're giving them another opportunity again. So I hope this will not be a repeat of the CPP. there will not be a repeat of the Mickey Mouse show was seen at the Capitol building at the time. I mean, at the Supreme Court that day. Everybody talking about, Mr. Cummings got the framework document. He hiding the document. He gonna produce the framework document. All those nonsense that was going on, that led to probably Unity Party today coming in and taking over. But I just want to address the situation today. What we saw today was a real. It seemed that Liberian people are just fed up with what's going on. Because you don't have a case. The people have not even gone to court. They have not even been really charged in the court. And then the judge is coming out and already banning them from traveling out of the country. So this is an organized thing. I think it was just intended to disgrace him and marginalize Mr. Cummings and the other folks. And it's a complete disgrace for our country. I mean, I literally was really felt bad for my country today when I saw what was going on. If the executive could just stay out of the legal system in our country, I think we'll have a great legal system. But as a good thing in the political party, they need to stay together. I hope they're not coming together again as a, try and see error, and then later on, everybody go their own way. And then they will come out and say they want to do block voting. They won't do the block voting for the leader and stuff like that.
Well, Mr. Namwe,
listen.
You are following 1 minute. You are following the international news. We are seeing something very similar going on in Togo. I don't know if you're following, anybody who be following international news. You're seeing people from all walks of life getting in the streets, basically with their hands up, telling the police, telling the military, we have nothing, but we are just tired with you guys, and you have to leave. And they say it began with few market women, and then few women, and then few, and all of a sudden it became 1 million from all over the place. People, at some point, people say, how long and how much can you push people before they decide that enough is enough? What I saw today with the coming together of all the political leaders in unison, condemning that we see what is going on. This is a calculated plot to get rid of the opposition. It's a number, your turn.
Listen, Jerome, it is indisputable. There is strength in numbers. We want the numbers to come together. And from the CMC point of view, we encourage our guys to engage and try to band together, and strengthen, the collaboration. But we also will assert our individuality, because we know we're not going to allow people to lump us together and judge our deeds that we are performing in Nimba. Right now, we are the only party, I can tell you here without any fear of contradiction. We're the only party which is not a ruling party that is undertaking projects in Nimba, undertaking projects in Bang, have undertaken projects in Margibi, has blueprints on the table to undertake 4 more projects in 4 more western counties of Bapolu, of Cape Mount, of Lofa, of Bombing. So yeah, we will want to explain to our people what we are doing individually. We don't want to share our thing with everybody. No, we're not going to do that. But however, on matters that concern the nation, on matters that have the potential to threaten the fabric of our existence, of our democracy that we all fought for, that we're enjoying today, that you and I can sit here and criticize the government in power and go to sleep tonight, not having to look over now. Well, now we have to think twice with what is happening now. But that's the democracy we've enjoyed over the past 20 or so years. We fought hard for this, and we will do everything within our powers to protect it. If it means collaborating with the CDC, with the ANC, with the movie, whatever, all other opposition, yeah, we will do so. We would demand that our people be given due process. It is part of the democracy that we fought for, and we have to protect it. So in so doing, absolutely, we encourage our guys to band together with the other opposition parties, because we know we're stronger together. But yes, we will also accentuate our individuality. We will tell the people what we're doing, what others are not doing, why we think we're better, so we'll be better placed to lead the country after 2029. We're unabashed about it. We intend to make our mark, and we will do so.
Excellent. Madam Jobo, here we are. Let's look at the figure, the number. The bill was set at $440,000 in addition to banning them from leaving the country. Is this fair? Is this equitable? Is it reasonable? Is this what people do to other people?
You know, Mr. Gamer, I don't know the laws when it comes to, that, like, whether you're supposed to be banned and all of that. But we all here on this platform know the position of the government in this case. So they will do everything possible, to hamper the movement of these people, their reputation, whatsoever. And they have already, the case is just really polarized at this point. We don't know even if they decide to get if they decide to try to get where they have a jury. I don't know whether they will get a jury from in this country. They will have to get somebody from somewhere else because the case is polarized, toxic. Like everybody in this country already know what's going on. What kind of fair jury you gonna get? So it's like, it's just a total mess. And these guys, mind you, these are the educated ones. They call themselves the elite. The real government was so inept and this and that. And if you are so educated and you're doing this kind of thing, then I want to be with the inept government because the inept government never did this. They didn't do this. These guys are and they're so afraid. I think that the real problem is fear. The real problem of this Garguah government is fear. They're so afraid of the opposition at this point. Because if you're not afraid of the opposition, go ahead and govern the country based off the Constitution. Let your words speak for you. Let the Liberian people take you and give a pat on the back based off what you do. But they're not doing. They're so afraid. They just they're trying to show strength. Why are you showing strength on? People are dying. Corruption in the government massively. You're not doing anything different. You have not brought anything fresh to the system. What are they showboating for? It just don't make sense, and it's just a turn up for a lot of people. Even the Fort soldiers. I saw a video where some of the youth people were chanting. They're asking for jobs. These are some of the things they're supposed to be doing to create opportunities for these people. They're not doing that. All over the place trying to play politics. It's just unfortunate, Mr. Gamer. It's just unfortunate.
Mr. Honorable Pewee, Joseph Boyka won the election by 51.2% of the vote. In the last Afrobarometer vote here, the survey, the 50% of the country say the country is retrogressing, 50% say he's doing good. So that means Joseph Boyka lost 1.2 percentage point. He right back where we started. Now, with the country that polarized, where can you get 12 jurors that have never heard about this case and never made an opinion, politically never have an opinion on this? Where can you find a jury to be impartial, that have never heard or have never formed an opinion on this case, to give these people a fair trial?
We can take them from Cote d'Ivoire as well, right? Or we can take them from nowhere. So we have to take them from the middleweight of the Republic within our borders. We can also request Comrade Jesus to help us. It's just not possible for now. So what we do, we can pray to God for that. But again, I think there are other remedy here from the perspective of the defense. They can pray the court. Probably the lawyer will prove me wrong. Maybe they will say, yeah, they can pray the court to push for a bench trial. Because these are some of the circumstances, if you will, they can pray the court to push for bench trial. It is possible, if that is feasible, they can go that route. That is the route that if they believe that that side of things is going to be a little rocky and they can't trust the system much about that, then they can allow the judge bench trial where the judge will hear the case and see the evidences and see if they apply the weight of evidence is strong enough to condemn. Other than that, I think, but we're dealing with people that do understand the law very well, and they're going to assemble some of the best lawyers we have around. So I'm not really going to lose a lot of sleep on that. I'm not going to think about that very well. And these are politically very savvy people. They are savvy politically, and I would believe that they're going to deploy the requisite tools that will be needed in projecting this case so that they wouldn't be robbed out of anything that the government want to manipulate the system or do a control process here in nearing them against this law. So that's what. But again, and the reason is the entire country, most portion of the society is corrupt. So the jury issue and other thing, it's been a long-term process in the country. There was a time people, even the Madame Salif days, there was the time people thought they should just suspend that process, and then we begin to see if we can bring some. And how do you do that? First and foremost, are you going to go to the church to say we need the best anointed folks? And the church, some of those that will come to the church may be even terrible than those that we think. So it's an issue that we have to change the culture of the country, the way we look at things.
That's true.
Everybody's engaged in everything. Look at the way, because these are and they are selected from the civil service from every professional areas. That's why if you are working with the civil service, as part of that responsibility you have. Whenever you are called to duty, you go and play this role. It's a very strategic and honorable role they will give any citizen to perform in your country. And that's why here folks will have to be people of extraordinary, impeccable record, right? That you have the fear of God and you respect the rule of law, and you sit and listen to the case and you come out with outcome. But more or less, we corrupted that system a lot. So I will pray that this defense team will push that if they don't have no choice whatsoever, they may push for a bench trial, and that may be one of the way. And not only pushing for a bench trial, but it will push for both the bench trial and show that they expedite this process. It will be an expedited case, fair and expedited case, so that we can come for an outcome of this issue. Because if
let me interrupt you for a second. I doubt it. Even if they say they want to expedite, I doubt it if they will yield to that request, because look at the twerk case. The twerk case up to now is still in limbo.
Yes,
I don't know. We don't know. The decision here is the decision here is to keep these cases for 2029. That is the game plan. They're not going to expedite all of these cases. They're not going to do that. They want to play politics with these cases until 2029. Let's say around 2028, maybe 2027, like that, before they will start running with it. It's all a game.
And then you're right. Somehow, because the prosecution team, because the pre-trial detainees we have, first and foremost, we need to take some time when they discuss these things. Though we are not lawyers, but we can put pressure on the government or the Ministry of Justice or the Solicitor General or the Attorney General of the country to ensure that, because most of the pre-trial detainees we have, 90% of those in South Beach are pre-trial detainees, and they've been there for some time. Like for instance, look at someone that is held for theft of property, for instance, criminal trespassing, or if you will. To be in South Beach, some of them being there for 5 years, and even if they were to be found guilty, they are not going to jail for 5 years. In many cases, you have most of them that are languishing behind bars, pre-trial detainees, are being in there for quite a protracted period of time. So what we want this president to do, he has to understand and make appropriate use of his pardon right also. Yeah, the Minister of Justice go and see those people that got their own petty charges in there that don't warrant being in there, get them out. The condition in there is terrible. The condition in there is terrible. I can recall the last time I visited there was some time ago, but when I visited Rodney C when he was there, but even before that, like I think 4 or 5 years ago, I visited someone there. The condition is not a habitable area. So what they got this the current people they're in the system themselves, they can put some pressure to bear. Let the Solicitor General of the Republic or the Attorney General ensure that but that case, if you delay the case, it will push for people to say that it is politically motivated because it took them how many months to come up with the charges.
I am hearing that they want to wait until the Chief Justice retire, and then when they replace the Chief Justice with their own person, then they will go ahead and prosecute those cases because at the end of the day, when they run to the Supreme Court, it will be compromised as well.
I don't think the person that will push as the Chief Justice, the person will be blind to the law because that would be a recipe for chaos in the country.
Well,
I don't think so. And I don't want to believe that the rest of the other associate justices will sit and allow one person as Chief Justice to go and change the rule of engagement in the Honorable Supreme Court. I don't want to think so. Right? We have reputable individuals that are currently on the bench. Right? I don't think they will allow one person to go and change the rule of engagement and believe that you will subvert the law and try to introduce this miscarriage of justice, and then the rest of them sit and say, kumbaya. No one's going to tell you kumbaya here, and we expect that to happen. So, but it's a serious thing.
But how many of those associate justices are scholars, legal scholars?
I got respect for most of them. That I would say this to you, honestly or not. James Arthur Howard Woodacott. I do respect her a lot. I do respect Sharon Clinton Johnson. I respect her a lot. She's too very firm, particularly when she headed the Criminal Code E and had this rape thing. She was very firm and to the point in applying the law. Councilor Sharon Howard Clinton Johnson is one person also that I respect. I respect Jim Arthur, as I said. I respect. No, she's leaving, and so I can talk about her. I respect the five. The Chief Justice is Albert. I do respect her. I don't trust Yami Bese, to be very frank. I don't trust him. The reason
is how many of them are scholars? You can. I'm not talking about your.
I think the challenge in our
how many of them? Most of them. I think most of them, to be very frank. You see, Bese, I can't speak to his scholarly point, right? So, to be very frank, the only person I will not vote for there is Bese, to be very frank with you.
Excellent. But I think let me just add up to that. I really don't think the integrity of our judiciary as a result of competence. I think it's just a large bankruptcy in people just being able to uphold integrity when it comes to the office, the whole, you know. And so I think we have scholars, we have competence, we have people who actually not just know the law in terms of the theoretical aspect, but practically, people have come from being prosecutors to judges and long-term experience and stuff like that. But most importantly, the good thing is most of our lawyers, people who are judges, and they to some extent started the law practice from the studies in Liberia, so they have a cultural understanding of the law. They understand the society. They know the environment. They know the challenges of the country, and so it should be easier to apply the law because you do understand the contextual living condition of the people. But unfortunately, we have these challenges because of integrity. People tend to allow themselves to bend. Unfortunately, some of the person can have all of the integrity. So once again, the government there and perhaps the president making some call or something, they just forget about everything. So I think that's where the challenge will be, and that is why you can't force people. You can't force people. I'm close on this to say if people start to think that there wouldn't be any fair trial for these guys, you can't force them in thinking that way because traditionally that's how society has been. So this is a difficult period. It's a difficult period, right? To be frank.
Thank you. Dr. Peabody,
Yes, sir.
Honorable Pewee tried something that I thought it was like it would be basically committing suicide, right? The judge that made this horrendous decision, not only to charge you for, but ban them from leaving the country, or that you take the chance and say, I will put my faith in the hands of a bench trial. Let the judge alone tell me whether I'm guilty or not. Will you take that chance with a judge in Liberia? Or will you at least try 12 people to see if you can pick your chance? One guy in Liberia, will you put your life in the hands of one guy?
I can never do it, Mr. Gaiman, because the fact here is these guys operate from the executive. The executive tell them exactly what to do. Or you need to they don't operate on the law book. That's why we're asking if we have sometimes some of the scholar in the Supreme Court, but even some of the judges that we have there, the executive will call them, hey, make sure you ban this man. Put a statement that they should not be banned from leaving the country. Then they'll say, okay, I agree to that. They are not operating strictly from the law. They are operating strictly from a command from the executive. So if you sit there and allow them to bring in the partisans, UP partisans, to sit on that thing and say they're on that jury, and then they are jury there in court, that will be a complete disaster, because those guys are controlled by them. They meet with them in the night and they tell them what to do. I mean, we don't have that system in Liberia where you can check on the jury and know if he's trying to manipulate or trying to do something and arrest him and stuff like that. We don't have that system. We don't have that system where the security really will check on the judge or taking bribe or trying to have phone calls or monitor his phone call to see any kind of. We don't have that system. So for that reason, people drive up to judges' house at night, give them big envelopes, and nothing happened. But my problem with the government is I'm afraid for that country. I'm afraid. Even Chairman Kofa can be the legal scholar, very smart lawyer, and the others can be scholars. When it comes to Liberia, people are not looking at the rule of law. They are taking instruction from people, and that's from the executive. And that's the problem, that they will end up being found guilty, because it's who Braga wants to be guilty. And he tell them, hey, you'll make sure you're putting in jail and stuff like that. And that's exactly what happened. So I really don't trust, because we saw a whole Supreme Court ruling there. And what did the executive do?
Yeah, that's right.
The number one man who should be a law-abiding citizen sat there and undermined and condemned the Supreme Court ruling. And so you'll walk with what nonsense they have there. You'll walk with the majority block and this other block. That nonsense. So it's scary. If you have the president of the nation, look at Donald Trump, did all he could at the end of the day, and he brought back the guy from Venezuela, and he brought him back.
That's right.
He brought him back. You know what I'm saying? He had to go by the court rule, but we have a government, we have a president who sat there, went on national radio. Normally when Supreme Court rule, the president will say, even though I disagree with the Supreme Court, I disagree with the Supreme Court that spoke up. But the president went had his own interpretation. The justice minister came out his own interpretation of Supreme Court ruling, and the Senate followed it. We have a breakdown of law in our country. We don't have a transparent justice system, and that's why you see all these things going on. That's why you arrest people from 11 o'clock in the morning and keep them at 4 o'clock. Then you say you're charging them just for a political show, you jumping all over the place till getting and acting like yeah, So I will not trust it. I will never trust it.
Mr. Sanvee, we are talking about our judicial system. Why shouldn't we, when we saw the Caucasian guy trying to slice the throat of a Liberian girl that was pregnant for him and all that stuff. All the evidence shows that this man did it, including his own statement to the police. Then, out of nowhere, the gentleman is set free. They say he's not guilty. Lack of evidence, maybe they come up with all these things, insufficient evidence. How will you feel, or how should these guys feel now, knowing the situation that they're against?
Well, I mean, yes. Of late, I don't disagree with Dr. Peabody or for being ambivalent about our justice system. But lately, performance, the track record has been checkered. They have come through at times, and they have let us down big time as well at times. The case in point, what you're talking about, Lucas Riches, I believe that's his name, with the Jessica case. Yes, the way that case was bungled. I mean, the press was reporting the negotiation with the whole lawyer and and the accused, on settlement and amounts of settlement and all that stuff. And the court, they did nothing about it. I mean, they could have called this guy in and sanctioned him. They did nothing. And right now, I can't tell you what that case is. I mean, but this is a human life. This girl's whole throat her hair was almost cut off. But the Supreme Court at least has come through on this House of Representatives, a deadlock. I think their initial ruling of ultra vires, which they came back later on to clarify, to say yes, everything that was done, by the 43, 49, whatever was illegal. I think they stood their ground on that. Never mind, basically, who is now, who is rehearsing for the Chief Justice position, who had gone to NIMBA and gave us much clarification, which I think strengthened the rule of law caucus to now refuse to caucus with the 49. And then he coming back and talking on the other side of his mouth, So, I mean, yeah, there's reason to be concerned as to what Supreme Court will get on what day. Is it going to be the one that at least affirm the rule of law, or is it going to be the one, with all these other concerns? But I think that we should give them the benefit of the doubt. There are some honorable people on the bench there. I agree with Sylvester. Some of them I know very well. Some I've known for quite a while. So there are some people there. So there's reason there for hope. But I think it matters a lot as to who replaces the Chief Justice Yo. And if it is going to be Bese, that I'm afraid may not bode well for us who we want the court to affirm the rule of law. But if it's going to be someone else, thank God, then I think there's reason to be hopeful. And I think my cardinal sister here, Tottenham High Nation, where one of the smart people go.
Well, guess what? I hope it's not to it either. The Justice Minister, that would be even worse.
But I think she's onto something here. It looks like there's an attempt here to prolong this thing until Chief Justice Yo leaves the stage and bring in someone who will make it easier for this government to have his way. But now we're standing again, it goes back to the point that we were making, that the opposition needs to band together and become formidable. We saw what the opposition did with the CPP when they were all together, because before the choppers like Henry Costa, who came and confessed how they derailed the whole process. Before they turned that thing into a chopping show, we saw what happened, how Dillon and other people got into the legislature. That's because the opposition was together and it was impenetrable. We need that kind of opposition. We don't want a chopping opposition where, the rally is already sold, people getting paid, all over the place. And then, what kind of opposition is that? Where the outcome is already predetermined. That's not the opposition we're looking for. So
I got a quick question, though. Do you guys know why they free Priscilla Copra? Because I thought she was among the group. I mean, I heard they say, I don't know, she was sick or whatever the case is. So did they charge her anything?
I expected her to go to court today with them and post bond. I don't know, to be honest.
I understand that. I understand that they have a female cell that she could go to. That's true. That's what the police director said.
But Florence Scott then went to a female cell.
I don't know.
But what happened to Everest and the other guys? Where are they?
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
they have female cell.
That's what I said.
But they got a lot of female subbies.
That's right. So we're talking about the 2,000 people of Guar
So,
now.
wait,
They were all men.
So Jerome, wait, why did they keep Gloria
No,
Sky?
he said on ERBC that one of the female cell was not working, and that's where she should have.
Where are the police?
Yeah,
that's what the police director said.
So where was the former Chief Justice Gloria Muzuska? Where was they?
I guess that one was working.
Okay.
No, Muzuska was placed in South Beach. I think he meant at the police station.
Maybe at the central here.
The holding cell. I think that's what you were talking about.
But let me welcome Siliki. Siliki, how you doing, there, young man?
Hey, Mr. Gamer. Hi.
Great. Before I welcome, let me put this in your lap. One of the Unity Party person told us here on this show. He said we have wrestled the House away from the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Senate.
Yep.
We are waiting for June 15 to appoint our own Chief Justice, and we are going to go after all the opposition, especially the sedition. You will see we'll put them in jail one by one. Mr. Siliki, the game plan is this was said about a month ago on this show, a month ago. And then when you read what I read, May the 16th, the central bank governor gave a directive that no bond should be issued unless it goes through him. So now we are connecting the dots here. It looks like they are waiting for Yo to retire in June. They will put Mr. Pewee with the Minister of Justice there as the Chief Justice.
Which are the June? This June?
No, I'm talking about Pewee.
No,
yes,
I mean, this June.
Yeah, this June. Yes. This June.
Okay.
I think she retires on the 15th.
Oh, okay, so.
And the Unity Party said they will appoint their own Chief Justice, and you will see we will go after all the sedition, all the opposition. We're going to put them in jail one by one. Are you seeing that plan play out here, my friend? Where a judge says not only these people will be indicted, but they're not supposed to leave the country at all.
Yeah, again, good evening to everybody. Mr. Gayman, Sylvester, Grace, and Siliki. It's good to be back on the show. Yes, I've been following the.
Who is Grace?
Okay, Sarah, sorry. Sarah, I thought we supported each other now. You want to be critical?
No, you said Grace, and I know I'm not Grace, so I thought I was looking for Grace.
You understand? Sorry.
Oh yeah, before you continue, Sidiki, I saw you hawking today. You're shaking hands. So you should prove that.
That's right, kumbaya, man.
But you know, it's necessary to do that because I think all along. But let me answer first, Mr. Gayman, concerning his question. You know, but here is the thing: I've been following the happenings in Liberia, especially in regards to the arrest of the 4 lawmakers. People keep saying 4 lawmakers, but I think it's 3 because 3 spent a night at Central, and then the rest of the 3 went to South Beach. And so it's just very unfortunate, Mr. Gayman. And everything you said, for me, I think I started noticing that when the government decided to kind of silence, Ellie Snow, when he made a statement on Spoon TV, and then they came and said different things, just because they wanted to get at him. And at the time, they recently succeeded in removing the speaker illegally. They went and begged him behind though he had to resign, and they conducted speakership election, which was already pre-planned. And this is very, very, concerning. It's troubling, and we should all be concerned about this. It's very, very sad. And I see a lot of people saying, what is the ANC or Mr. Cummings doing with CDC, and how Cummings will never become president. This is good. If that would make Cummings to not become president for standing with the rule of law. I see some people saying, but the people, they did the same thing to you. They took you on personal bench. The CDC people, now you are with them, all of that. But let's not forget too now. CDC didn't just go and pick up Cummings and put him prison on bench. The United Party was the group of people who accused Cummings of forgery, and that's how he got there. And because CDC2 it was in government at the time, it was a responsibility to investigate. So that's how Cummings got there. But we understand this is all political. They try to do this to divide the opposition, but it's not going to work. And if anybody Cummings should not work with, it will be the United Party because they were there for 12 good years, 12 years. And then they came in opposition, we collaborated, there was no issue. They accepted us, and now they're empowered, violating the same things that they spoke against yesterday. And then they don't want us to collaborate with other opposition leaders as if to say they are not Liberians or they are, we have something personal. Everything we said yesterday was on the basis of, policy, truth, not being in the interest of the Liberian people. And you're doing the same thing, and this was well planned, calculated, that will pull up people in jail, we'll have their photos, we'll post it on Facebook and disgrace them. And on Monday, we'll put them out, and nothing will come out of this, Mr. Game. The government, I saw the police actually talking about how they have sufficient evidence. Those evidence cannot be denied in court. They don't have any damn evidence. And let me say this. This evidence they keep emphasizing is an AI, generated voice recording that they're passing around with. They try, Abdullah Muhammad is the one who created that stuff. They play on Spoon TV the last time. And this is the same evidence the police director keep mentioning about that they get to use against the people in court. And this is very, very tough. You arrested 4 people. 3 people spent 3 nights in jail. Where is the one individual? And this is why you know that it is all political. You can't do this. And when people join together and speak, or what you're doing is not good, we say that changes are becoming president as if to say you are God to determine who will be president. This will not work. The United Party will have to do what is right for the Liberian people and respect the law. And on this same show, a few months ago, a few weeks ago, I saw Mr. Gaiman, Mr. Sanvee, and other people who were really concerned about the peace of the country, begging for nothing to resign or to just let this thing go in all of that for the sake of the country. But here is the thing now, this sake of the country we keep preaching about all the time. Is it one-sided that we only preach it to the opposition? What about the government taking into consideration that they have a responsibility to keep the peace of the country? And the way things are going, if this continue, look, we can beat the opposition can beat the Unity Party 2029, but they're not going to do what the past government do because of what we're saying now. They're using the police to intimidate Liberians, and this is unfair. When you talk, they say, "Oh, you can't get in the street. We'll do this. The police will defend themselves." This is wrong. You don't arrest people in the morning. You put charges on them at 5 p.m. because the court is closed, and you send them to jail. They spend 3 days in jail, and then early Monday morning, the central bank is issuing a statement that they should not be granted certain amount of bond. This is political wish hunt, and this administration should not be engaged into this because we spent 6 years together in opposition. These are some of the things that we're talking about. I was wrong, and now they come there, they are doing the same thing. And what they try to do that is so unfortunate is that they're making reference to some of the things CDC did. So it's more like a payback. She killed somebody according to the case at the time. And so she needed to go to jail. There was evidence, and then she had her day in court. I think they went to court for months. But a lot of people don't get any day in court. You call them to the police station, you have one of the lawmakers lawyers signing for her, and then the rest of the people, you send them to jail. How do you call this? And when people come and speak, you say they will not become president. They're not supposed to collaborate with CDC. Seditions are Liberians. No matter what you want to say, and nobody that caused the country damage more than the United Party.
They are in front of CDC.
We should not pretend to make it look that the 177 years Liberia have been in existing, CDC destroyed everything in the country. No. You had the opportunity to live for 12 years. CDC was only there for 6 years. And then now you say to collaborate or join CDC to stand for our cause is the worst thing that will ever happen in the country history. Now, and the people who saying it, I will close on them, Mr. Gamer. The people who saying it, they are wasting our time. I saw my brother Duke. He's all on Facebook. ANC is a mess. You're wasting your time, brother. You wrote a press release saying you resign on ANC. You will not dictate to Cummins what political decision to make. Cummins will make his own decision, and we will stand firm, will defend it, most especially when you got to do something in the interest of the Liberian people. We don't care what our CDC is involved, but our Georgia is involved. Georgia is a Liberians, citizens are Liberians. We'll work together in the interest of the country once we are in opposition together.
Thank you. Ahmed, today, ECOWAS representative to Liberia, Ambassador Josephine Nkrumah, challenged African countries to embrace innovation, stop the aid dependency syndrome. How does Liberia fit into this amidst all what we are talking about?
I mean, I don't know what you mean fit, but generally, I think she might have been directly talking to Liberia because that approach of development or survival has been our model to depend on foreign aid all through. Unfortunately, to the extent that we so much depend on foreign aid, to the extent that we give out our natural resources to companies from those foreign nations on the mentality that if you did not do so, you may not get assistance. The APM terminal deal with the connection and influence to Torgbean and Great Britain. It went sweet, fast, of course. 99 years, nothing in return. It fight over metal and HPL with our railroad became difficult for our government to take a decision simply because they're afraid that other of those companies connected to a country that could give us foreign aid. So it's just unfortunate. That is why we are where we are today. A larger part of our financial fiscal policy has always based around there will be donation or some loan coming from either not the IMF, the World Bank, UC, and stuff like that. So it's critical, and as the country, the population increases and the challenges expand, we need to be more innovative. And I agree with the lady from ECOWAS. And here's the truth: other countries have been able to do it. You go to Rwanda, they realize that thing wouldn't carry them anywhere. They change their approach. Now we hear a lot of reports from what's happening in Burkina Faso. If those reports are true, then it suggests that there is a possibility Africa, Liberia in particular, has the resources required and that can do the trick, that can turn it around. But ultimately, I think it still boils down to one important deficiency, which continues to be leadership. Leadership has continued to be a deficiency, not because we do not have the skill set or we do not have the resources to turn it around, but the leadership who will be able to make those bold decisions, take the giant steps, have always been our problem. And hopefully, we hope that as we make progress, we hope that as we go towards 2029, the issues on the ballot will not just simply be the same political issue, but rather will be who then can provide that innovation, that turn around approach that change us from dependency to sustainability. And as I close, I just want to emphasize the point that Mr. Nyenwolo made with regard to our Supreme Court. And I do agree with him. There are some very credible, moral, upright people on the court, and I think it's only important that we give them the benefit of the doubt. I think people now will understand that what is at stake, as we said earlier, is not about whether Kofa is right or Kofa is wrong, but it's about setting a precedent for our judicial system. All these landmark cases can provide us the opportunity to build on. So we think that at this point in time, people should see past politics, people should see past personal vendetta. Let this matter be adjudicated based on the law, based on facts, so that at the end of the day, there can be something future generation can reference and also deal with such matters come about. So I think that's what I would like to add in that direction.
Thank you. Mr. Pewee, Honorable Pewee, when you are in Liberia, I am not going to be hanging out with you because Torgbean is looking for you.
but get me, and you see that's the other side of it, that we don't speak our minds, right? And I say I don't until I can trust him, and this is my right. The only thing I didn't say here is that I respect every ruling that, for instance, his recent dissent. I respect that. I don't trust him. There are people that would say they don't trust the entire bench. No, I don't trust him, right? So he will have to do things. I didn't say it, and I don't trust him, and I stand by that. And let me say here the part of the reason. I witnessed, I was very actively engaged with the politics. I normally would take some time, move to the courts, to the sacred courts and all of that. Most of the decisions I saw coming from him as a judge pushed me to say today I don't trust him. So for him to earn my trust moving forward, he will have to do things that I believe. Even his recent dissent, I vehemently disagree with his dissent, but I respect it. Right? So the justice will have to do more, and part of this is not for him to come. But to be trusted, you don't have to continuously vacillate. You saw his recent disposition on this matter. Then eventually the conclusion aspect of it, he came in acting as though one was being arm twisted to take said decision. It's just very disappointing. And if he was in my shoe, he would have had the same thought process that I'm currently harboring. That you come and say this as a justice, you come in there an extraordinary level of respect, and you have to hold yourself at that bar that people will hold you to. An attempt to slip from that is tantamount of you lacking a lot of things. And that's where I am for now. I may change course. It have not totally evaporated, but it's nearing that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Josh, if not the 99.99%, we still got hope.
Yeah, so please tell John to tell the Josh that my son is not totally evaporated.
That's
but
right.
You have to do something to re-earn it.
That's right. Welcome, Mr. Anthony Gay. Now let's go back to.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go back to.
I hope that cow, you're not going to eat some.
I started the campaign last night on another show that the cow should be returned, and I feel vindicated.
No. That's a terrible thing. Nobody should do that.
I mean, you don't have to agree with my decision. You just have to respect it.
Anthony Gay,
I do respect it, but I disagree with it.
I met him walking for a cow. You see, he walking to the cow. You see him walking, he's gonna get his cow meat.
No. You're not a bereaved. The bereaved made a decision. Respect the decision.
Anthony Gay.
I think we all agree with you that the bereaved, the family should decision as to how they want the mother to be buried should be respected. I think the only part from which people keep speaking on this issue is that, for every country, every society just get its own norm. And sometimes some things just go beyond the regular norm of our society. I think that's from our point. But we do respect the right of the family to decide who should be a part of the funeral, what gift they want to accept. We think that they're right. But, sometimes there's just some level of courtesy in our society that have existed for a long time. So when we see something a little different, then of course people come to talking it. But the regular family burial thing, a person bring gift, you carry back to them, those things happen regularly every day. But sometimes when you make it out public, you carry the gift, you call the camera, let's put it there for the record, then I think it goes beyond just an expression of genuine feeling, but rather a moment to score some point. Then we ask ourselves, at what point, what are we doing this? Doing it at the burial, the funeral of your mother? So that's just it. But I think it's a good thing to respect her right and let her decide what she wants to do. And I think the former president should respect that. If at this point in time that they do not want him to be a participant to it, let him respect that. Step away, step aside.
Thank you.
Let me just come in quickly, Mr. Gilman. Let me just come in quickly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Look, I think this whole thing here. I feel very, very sorry for the Doe family. I think this action, I mean, they feel that they are entitled. If the president went to you, the former president of Liberia, that's a sign of trying to, come together. And y'all can disagree, but when it comes to death and other things, even brothers and sisters that are not speaking, they all come together during this time. I think what the president did was a very, very honorable thing to do. He did it, I think, in the name of love. Even if Nancy Doe tried to reach him in the past and she couldn't, and knowing that this family is having a very serious financial situation, trying to bury their mom and stuff like that, he went there with love. He went there with peace to give up this gift to them as a sign to help you guys move on with the former First Lady's funeral. I don't think they back and forth by Mommy Doe or whatever. I got my own way of terming it, but I'm not going to say it here. It will not be good if I say it.
I suspect it's somebody manipulating her.
You see, but this is complete nonsense. This is, it says to me, it is lack of respect and to the president. Somebody, he didn't have to do it. He did it out of goodwill. He didn't have to do it. He went there and visited you and showed you that respect. You should be honored by that. Even if your parents disagree, your mom had an issue with him, you should be honored by that. That the former president of Liberia went to your house, brought you food, and gave you. The vice president went there and gave her $2,000. Did she return it? Why can't I give her an envelope? Did she return it? What kind of disrespect is that to the former president? They need to stop this nonsense and really move on with the thing. Why you want to make your mom funeral so political that everybody talking on UP and looking for something to distract the nonsense they did with Fonati Kofa? Yeah. And they're trying to bring that up. It's a complete distraction. But what I think is nonsense, is disrespect, and that's a shame to her family. She brought shame on her family.
And that quickly, Gimme.
Can I say something?
Quickly, Gimme. So, the problem here is, you're right, the president went there also again. You didn't reject that. But yes, if you felt that President, we hadn't paid the so-called money you're talking about, $18 million, why President Barkley paid up to current? Have you gotten dime from them and all those things? I mean, folks should start politicizing in this process. And I believe it's seriously motivated politically. There are some hands behind this. The man was very magnanimous yesterday. He went there, provided, gave some rights to the Grenadian Women Association. They requested, and he didn't just come to give this cow yesterday. The Grenadian women requested the president that traditionally,
that's right.
Happening, people kill cow. So, Mr. President, we ask you to help us kill cow.
That's right.
He agreed to the request. In less than 24 hours, he made a cow available, almost 200 or so becquerel rice, with 5,000 US. He presented that amount yesterday. She held it. But after receiving some politically manipulated calls from the current agent to just distract the whole thing, then you come out to say this happened, that happened.
Nonsense. Complete nonsense.
It's unacceptable.
Mr. Gay,
yes,
you are a Grenadian. You're going to be running for the Senate, so I know you're going to be political. You need help from the Doe people. Talk to me. How did this thing happen, and why you say that you send the cow back?
Thank you very much. And first and foremost, when everyone was speaking, I did not interrupt.
But don't worry, just go ahead.
We're interrupting you now. Interrupting yourself.
Go ahead, T.
You just interrupted yourself. You were just doing well there for a while, then you just
you believe that I will interrupt you, so it's a preemptive strike. But go ahead, nobody interrupt.
Go ahead, Senator.
Your 2 minutes clear. 2 minutes.
If we will put our former First Lady, our mother, in a box to give her that befitting funeral, we would do it. We would not be denigrated by anyone, regardless of your stature in society, in the name of, because it's a funeral, so just accepting that the former president. Grand Jury Association in the United States currently have over $100,000 in the bank account. we can bury her. Here is the reason why I respect and support the decision to return this gift. It is very simple. I personally commended the president.
Excuse me, God. Let everybody mute. I hear TV in the background. Yeah, go ahead.
I personally commended the former president for mustering the courage to go there, to sympathize with the people, to go on the mat. What I disagree with and what I frowned upon is one, he refused to shake her hand. He shook 4 people's hands. The video is there for you to see. Shake 4 other people's hands at the same area, including the former ambassador, Nyenwolo. He shook his hand. Point number 1. Point number 2, he went there to make the former first lady look like a liar. We still have a video of her interview, things that she said. When you go to sympathize, you sympathize and walk away. You don't talk down on people. We are not desperate for cow. Grand Jury Association in America is arguably the well-organized Liberian-based organization. We have over $100,000 in our bank account now.
Why are you still going to court?
Please don't interrupt me.
Man, don't interrupt the man, man.
You understand?
Go ahead.
So if George Weah can be worshipped by other people, can be called other things, we are not desperate for cow. We are not desperate for 50 bags of rice. If we will put her in a little box and put her under the ground and give her that dignity, we will. So, not because you brought a gift. She is the bereaved. She extended her hands. You said no. The excuse, other people have impacts. Granted. Then why did you shake 4 other people's hands, including the former ambassador, Nyenwolo hand? Look, we got to be honest with ourselves first before we can be honest with anybody else. And secondly, she is the bereaved. She determined what gift she accepts or not. Whether or not you agree or disagree, it is up to you. But occur her that common human decency. It is her ultimate right. Don't denigrate her. Don't bash her. It is not your pain. It is her pain. You can disagree, and that's fine. But don't denigrate her. Accord her a common human decency. That's all we ask. Respect her decision and live with it. You don't have nothing to say to her. She did not insult you. She did not do anything to you. She doesn't deserve that denigration, and will not take it. Accord her a common human decency. That's all I can say.
Can I come in?
Quickly, please. Quickly.
I got a question for you.
Quickly, Gimen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, real quick. Real quick.
Thank you. And
then we'll go to Sarah. Then we'll go to Pewee.
You know, my dear brother spoke well just now, right? He thought I was going to interrupt him from the beginning. That's why he said that. But he spoke. And let me say something quick here. That's why I said quickly. He said something that I really agree with. Some, not all, 100%. Yes, what I agree with him. And I want to say this openly here today or tonight, that the head of the former president should say this to him. He was political president. The fact that he didn't shake her hand when she extended yesterday, I felt very disappointed.
Yeah, he did.
I felt very disappointed yesterday when that happened. But immediately a few seconds later, he extended to shake others' hand. And I thought I agree with my brother here 100% on that. President Weah will have to change his mindset on that. He had to grow up to that and understand we politically engaged in an era in terms of you have to see the human side of people. And especially as Bereaved, you want to visit, and she accorded you the handshake.
Right.
So I thought, and I agree with you on that 100%. But the only thing I will also say to you and the Grand Jury Association, if you guys are the richer, as you said, Why up in that guy not given dime yet? Dime.
But
Dime.
let me
Dime.
so
So
can I come
I
up?
want to agree you on the level. I think the president will have to.
Can I say something?
Of that.
Yeah, Dr.
Peabody. Can I say something? Let me say that. Let me say that.
I'm coming to you, Sarah. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me say this, and I agree with him too that President we have that one was way out of place. He can't
continue doing that, man. Poor you won't be doing that.
That was just that was out of place. He was wrong for doing that, and I think he should have called her a more respectful manner when it comes to the family. He should have really called her that real dignity and respect. He should have done that. I think that was wrong. He was totally out of place for that. But I just want to say something else. So this guy, Anthony said, the first place, the death of Nancy Doe is not just Grand Gina Association. Nancy Doe was not the first lady she was not the first lady of Grand Gina. She was the first lady of the Republic of Liberia. It's the responsibility of every Liberian coming up to show. So we shouldn't be bringing in tribalistic stuff when we're talking about these kind of bereavement.
Running for Senate now.
Secondly, he said that the Grand Gina Association are the richest and the most respectable group in America. The last time I checked, they were in several courthouses in Philadelphia. I mean, I'm speaking from fact. Fred Guar was the president that ended in court. Michael Gilman, they all ended in court. They have some serious. In fact, the association is split. I found a lot of the organization in this country.
You want to know the update for today now?
Huh?
You want to know the update today?
What's the update? But y'all were not in court.
So yes, we have to discipline people.
Where you guys not in court?
We were, and because we have to discipline people.
But then you messing for us now.
Yeah, so we have to discipline people. That doesn't mean our organization is
again.
Are we gonna
discipline people? That doesn't mean we're not intact.
Are we litigating this now?
I just want to clear that up. We just
you guys are making the
most attended convention, well-attended convention, well-organized. We raised $73,000 in one weekend. Just recently in Kentucky. $73,000.
Y'all got a split group. Is that true?
We don't have no split group. We have
I follow others thing, man.
Over 5,000 people. That is 70% to 5,000 people. You can compare that.
Oh, but it's
still split.
No, it's still split.
I'm not talking to you.
That's right. We have a handful of people.
Sarah.
Sarah. Anthony, I just want to say what you said. You know, you are right for that. You are very right. For the former president to not shake her hand, even though he hit her elbow and stuff like that, which was not right. I think he should have even give her a hug. I mean, that she's bereaved and she's hurting. She needs a hug, even if they had something going on. There was some, misunderstanding. So I think you're right. You were supposed to do that. But I want to ask you, do you think it's because of the handshake that she returned the items? Because I don't think so. I don't think it was because of the handshake she returned those items. I think she is politically compromised. I think somebody blow breeze in her ear. I think that a lot of things went behind the scenes.
No, it is what he said. What did he say yesterday? There is no manipulation behind it.
What did he say?
It's what he said yesterday. Go listen to what he said.
No, tell her what did he say?
What he said? Because
first of all, he said there was no feud between him and the former first lady. He said none of that thing happened. He been caring for her. He did extremely well for her. That is not true.
No, he didn't say he did. No, he didn't say he did extremely well. He said they only met 3 times since. The extremely well aspect he said, but he didn't say extremely well. But he said they met 3 times, and he don't want to say any much because the dead body is not yet to defend herself, right? So, but he did what.
But in your fairness, Mr. Pewee, was that necessary?
And again, here's the point: the fact that because Nessa Doe herself is on recording saying she was treated in a disdain.
She was mistreated.
Yes, and he did not
respond. The best way was to get aboard that whole thing, because and I want to believe that what the daughter spoke to today.
Correct.
She said she don't want to disrespect her mother, right? And the mother said that video that went around that she was treated that how disdained manner by him, and even talked to among people and other things. And because that recording went forward, and I believe the daughter is harboring that also. So
right.
And she was even part of the interview.
Yeah,
but she didn't say much in the interview.
Yeah, she didn't say much about that, but she said she don't want to disrespect her mother. That's why she returned the gift, right? And when the mother, all the time the mother was abandoned, no one cared at the time, and no one come give something, and then she would she would abandon her mother, and she being the one taking care of her mother when she was sick for the protracted period of time, right? So
all of this came about because of the statement he made yesterday. How he just gone there, sympathize with the family, walk away. None of these things are going to come out. Look, one of the things people don't understand, we from Grand Judah and most Liberian people, when somebody pass away, it's the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, to reconcile.
I mean, there is a general norm in the entire Liberia. When a woman gives birth, a child is born, or somebody pass away. These are opportunity.
Or in some cases, somebody getting married.
There you go.
Well,
so we are all traditional people. We understand these norms. I did not grow up in Spain.
Anthony Gay, I know you are not totally impartial because you're running campaign now as we speak. Yeah, Mr. Nambe.
Thank you.
The incoming senator from Grand Judah County trying to make it.
You know, get a meta to that.
Yeah, like Joe Williams.
They may not tell you he running.
You see the man. Thank you. I don't even know. So listen. That's why I give my brother Siddiqui a lot of credit. You know, he knows how to stay on message. Cummings is getting close to the CDC, the ANC, and he came here and elevated that conversation. Mr. Gay here. I disagree with most of what he's saying. I think this is a shameless attempt to politicize this thing. I think it's unnecessary. This is a family misfortune. Let the poor bury their mother. When Nigerian Association, they got absolutely no fish to fry in this. They got no fish. If you're going to do what you were planning, what you were pronouncing here, that would be the statement you make. You go and bury the woman. You know, but like Cyril said, I think it was Cyril. So, you know, we're still waiting for you guys. I know the Nigerian Association is very rich. I know Timon Collins and all the other guys. I am very familiar with what goes on in there. You guys are very rich and very powerful. But you also have your internal feud. And I think to use this misfortune by this family, you know, and to make a political statement, I think it's wrong. I think you guys should stay out of this. Let the poor bury their mother. I agree with Sylvester, and I also agree with you. I think the former president himself, you know, he needs to grow up. He's not a kid anymore on the soccer field. You know, all that thing about shaking hand, not shaking hand, all of that, you know, what is it about? You're a politician, man.
I
was
very
disappointed by that too. When I saw him shaking somebody's hand. You know, he showed several hands. You know, he's not on a little ball. He went there. You know, no, I'm serious. No, but you want to see us? No, I was very disappointed. I was hurt by that.
But Mr. Never, I can't talk for ASC today. I keep for great today today.
You came here, you said, no, I want to interrupt you. Yeah, you don't rub me now. But anyway, my point is, look, I like the stand by Isaac. Isaac is my old friend. We've all went to Cardinal. He's a very pragmatic, very reasonable guy, Ambassador Nyenwolo. I listened to the statement that he made. You said the elders are, you know, you said the thing is going to go on. First of all, the cows are going to Grand Judah, you know. So, yeah, Mommy, though, you know, she's a younger sister. She's hurt and all of that. But I think they should get all of the feelings out of this.
And I think I heard her saying that she was not consulted or something, that he didn't consult her or something like that. Something she was trying to say.
Obviously, there is a few going on in the family. You know, Joe Penner is on the one side, Ambassador, you know, but on the other side. But I think they should all hold together and bury them.
Yeah, let them bury the woman piece for
exactly. It seems to me that those things were returned back to the family from the way Ambassador Nyenwolo spoke. So I think that's a good thing. Let the elders intervene and, you know, put their arms around it. I mean, the grieving, she's hurt and all of that. But I think we shouldn't help them to politicize this thing. So I hope entering your position is not the position of the Grand Judah Association. So you didn't say that, but you implied it. And I hope the Grand
What I said is, I think you guys are misinterpreting what I said. I said, even if we're desperate or if we were put in a box, the Grand Jury Association will stand up. That's what I say. I'm not saying the Grand Jury Association do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
That's
but the cows, what the cows got to do with box? It's for the people on the market to eat. The cow got nothing to do with.
Listen, that cow there, that's $700 for
Anyway.
one cow. That's cow again, for
Sarah.
Yes.
All right, but that'll be next.
On the
That'll be
lighter
next
side,
time.
what do you think my job will say with these cows?
Oh my God!
On the lighter side.
I know.
Okay, guys, just a joke. Hey, Anthony Gay, we got
No,
we
wait a
got
minute, Jerome.
GGAA, we got GGAD.
Hang on, Jerome. You're broken, Mike. I was in Minnesota. A lot of people asking,
There's no such thing
where
as
is
GAD, my brother.
Kehleboe? A lot of people are asking me, and I couldn't answer that.
What?
That guy ran away.
Kehleboe came by yesterday. He had a press conference.
Oh,
He
okay.
said he was coming, so he's there. But let's get to the last topic here. When Victoria Torgbean died,
What happened to my charger?
they had a private burial, right? Let me go to Siliki. Siliki. When Mrs. Victoria Torgbean died, they had a private ceremony. The government read the Gazette and all that stuff, but it was private. It was with dignity and pride. We didn't hear much about it. Why Madam Doe, when she had her children, she got families, she got Grand Jury Association, she got you, she got me, she got everybody. Why not just a private burial and make this a political brouhaha?
Well, again, I think, recently when the former first lady passed off, we had a conversation about it, and I told you I don't actually know much about the former, first lady relationship with President Weah, and so I didn't want to make some statement. But I agree with what somebody say here that this whole burial thing, have taken a different stand, which, I believe there are some, politicians or political actors in the back trying to bring it up to this, extent to what we see in it. But whatever it is, for me, I would just want to send a condolences to the family. I don't think this is a matter for people, to kind of want to politicize it and do all of what they are doing. For me, I don't think it's necessary. But what I also, think is, that is also unfolding is that the fact that the former president, President Doe, or the former first lady, the government of Liberia has some, benefit, that they needed to pay to the Doe family. They failed to do that, both President Weah and the current government. And let's not forget too now. Not only President Weah is being rejected favor from this Doe family. Remember during the State of the Nation, President Baka made a commitment to doing a reburial of, President Doe. And that proposal was also rejected from the Doe family. And nobody talked about it as this is being, circulated on Facebook today. And again, I want to agree with Brother Peabody. Maybe the government is also want to, trying to use this to kind of divert attention from what is going on, the illegal, arrests of lawmakers, to kind of want to focus on it today, because right after they release those people, that's how we saw the cow burning, happening at the CDC headquarters. And after then, the rest of the day, like just the cow stuff was on Facebook and all of that. But for me, I just want to wish, because no one can lose, that relative, and then while you are grieving, and then this kind of issues is on Facebook, wrong message and all of that. But I just want to close on. It was a cool show. Again, this government will want to, have to do the right thing, and we in the opposition will collaborate on issues, that is in the interest of the country. We work together. One is necessary, especially when the rule of law is being disrespected or disregarded. We work together. And again, in this public manner, I just want to ask all of you for your support. I'm contesting for the Liberia Association election here in Kigali for the vice chairmanship. I received a full endorsement from my university to go into the election, and so I had someone who wanted to also go. We had a primary, and then I won the primary in a school.
Good job, Siddiqui. Good job.
Hey, do I represent the ANC there? You got my full support. You know you got my support.
He learning from Pewee and
No, you got my support.
You got my support too.
So we'll be reaching out to everyone here on this platform for whatever support. Maybe you can share our flyers on your page, or whatever support you can give to.
Man, you know where you going. Just send your WhatsApp number, man. Don't you?
I know, right? When I be there to vote, so just say your number. I got already got your number, so that one.
Before you go, Mr. Gammon, did you guys see the way how the handle our chairman Carol doing the something yesterday? The way the police shopping
let's play that video.
In the pickup and stuff like that.
That's what happened when you come late. We discuss the thing, and then you come here and discuss it.
You can't even send me the link. I had to be begging around to get a link.
I mean, if you guys discuss it,
Roman, thank you very much, young man. We'll send you small thing.
Also, Siddiqui is contesting as what?
Vice President for this
in Rwanda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we got
ANC people always scared of the number one spot.
Hey,
when the election?
I love that country.
The election will be the 27th of this month. But we want to get some preparation.
So when the campaign, what's the budget?
It's on now.
What's the campaign budget?
No, we're not going to budget.
So you're not running campaign?
No, we campaign. So
the man say he's sending you the cash app.
The men are running your campaign. The men got to understand what the men are going to run the campaign on campus. We know around. We need your farm time, all those things.
Yeah.
So we need to know the campaign.
I will send your letter, Sylvester.
So we can chip me out with a mic because listen, campaign.
Oh man, you might not with a mic. You need to chip you. Yeah, so
we can chip me out with a mic. Listen, we're not going to endorse it. We're not going to endorse him per our muscle we endorse. So we have to get some support. So it's going to be the moral and the small watermark support that will help the campaign move forward. The 27, so at least if we get a report, we'll get what we think we can do.
If you get Mike, you got 2 weeks.
You say, hey, I want to ask you.
If you are going to give a CDC-driven candidate, then someone will review our support.
No ANC, we are all Liberians.
Let me find out from the quickly, Roman.
Everything you representing your people.
First of all, the men want the country.
Hey, one at a time. Go ahead, Pewee.
Let me find out that from you, Siddiqui. A question for both Siddiqui and Anthony. Siddiqui first. Our man contesting, your man are you arguing as I he contesting.
Sarah's?
Who?
Sarah's. Yeah, that's Sarah's.
Sarah contesting?
No, Sarah not contesting.
The man supporting you?
Sarah, university supporting me, so definitely.
Oh, okay, that's good. And Anthony, quickly, before I end here, Zoe Penno and that of the former rebel leader, who will be contesting who election up for 2029?
That's Zoe Penno. Yaya seat is not up for grab 2029.
Okay.
2035.
Okay.
Oh wow.
2035.
He just got a
no, not 2035. 2033.
33. I'm sorry. Not yes.
Mr. Pewee, you're closing.
My closing. Maybe the lie. I don't go. I will close last.
Okay.
Thank you. You're good.
Thank you very much.
Let me send it to you.
Let me close.
Yeah, go ahead.
How long is it for you to walk? You walk for hours?
You been exercising?
Yeah, I walk for an hour and a half. But let me close on emphasizing on one important conversation that we just keep emphasizing is the issue of opposition unity. I remember during the Nema election, I broke ranks with my party when I emphasized that endorsing all of the candidates was not a solid commitment to forging an opposition unity. I thought that movement provided us an opportunity to send a message. And I said it wasn't one that was just meant to win a seat, but one that would have provided a deterrent, a checkmate, and awareness and alert to the ruling party. Because you see, look, when you have been involved in politics, particularly Liberian politics, and you follow the nature, the behavior, the pattern of the ruling government, you know that they are targeting something. These are not the approach is not isolated. They're not doing anything like, okay, in the morning, wake up tomorrow morning. No, it is a careful plan that leads to the idea of consolidating power. And so the issue about opposition unity, the issue about us uniting our people around the understanding that the government is meant to govern and not to own the country, it becomes imperative. I will hope, like I said today, I will hope this gave us reason to unite, not necessarily because we want to win a seat in 2029, but because we need to have a checkpoint for the government. Because look, the guys in there, they were in power 12 years ago, they left power, they became destitute. They've gone back. They now understand what it means for power to leave you. They're not trying to have that happen. They will do everything and anything to ensure that happens. The only thing that can revert or put a checkpoint, as Sarah Reddy said, will be the people. And if we do not provide the leadership that is based on honesty, that is based on genuineness, that is based on real, tangible issues, it becomes difficult. Let us not make the opposition only because perhaps we want to win a seat in 2029. But the issues unfolding in the country demand that we come together and we do so. So we hope those at the echelon of leadership in the opposition community will see it that way. And I think it was a great show, good insight, objective, and we just wish you all a blessed day. That's it for my closing.
Let me close because my stuff is dying. My iPad is dying.
Your eyebrow?
Huh?
Your eyebrow is dying?
My iPad is dying.
Oh, your iPad. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, I want to say thank you, Mr. Gilman, and everyone else on the show. It was a great show.
You got?
Go ahead,
Ms. Dapper. Go ahead, sir.
So yeah, but let me forget my tongue. Yeah.
She's the boss.
So yeah, I mean, it was a great show. Like I said, I wholeheartedly agree that the opposition needs to unite. As a matter of fact, that's how UP came to power. They all united. The CPP, they came together at the time that had the long got a job. So at this point, whether it's for a job or whatever, the opposition needs to unite because this unity party government has a plan. They have a plan and they are very intentional about their plan. So if the opposition does not unite, these guys are going to take advantage of everyone and nobody will be left out. So the opposition needs to unite on every front to battle these guys and ensure that the law is followed to the letter. We have seen so far what they have done, and they have gotten away with it, and they feel emboldened now to do the rest of it. So the opposition really needs to come together and tackle and battle whatsoever thing they have moving forward. So I just want to say thank you. I want to say sorry to the Doe family. It's unfortunate that this thing went out of proportion, out of order. And I also want to say to my president, Mr. President, you need to please start shaking people's hands. This is something that people don't like. This is something that is bad. You are president, you are a public figure. At the end of the day, it doesn't look good. And those are all that support you who don't know what to say when the people come up with this kind of statement. So I just want to urge you, if you are listening to the show, please get out of that other bubble and start shaking hands. I know it is.
Little eyebrow on that. Or was it the eyebrow on that? No. Don't make me go there with you. So listen, thank you. Great show. I agree with Sarah. I think the president really, and if you're not going to shake hands, don't shake hands. But don't, this selective non-shaking hand, is really bad. But I'm not gonna, kill it to death. I think Sarah, she got it. I think the president will listen to her more than he will listen to me because, you know.
Wait, are you saying it's similar to the selected justice?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go to South Beach to cry for, you know, impartial justice, then you might also shake hands, you know, across the board. But yeah, I also agree with her. I think the opposition we need to band together. That's the only way I think we will make progress. There is a lot of strength in number. You know, we need to bring the numbers together and take a stand. And the opposition that's our area. We are the opposition. We shouldn't be embarrassed or ashamed or whatever it is. And I know the government people, you know, some of them will call us unpatriotic, you know, when you question with yeah, you know what, let them go ahead. But I think we really need to stay united to fight for those things that we think are not right and make sure to right the ills in our society as we go towards, you know, 2020, 2029. I will appeal to my brother Anthony, you know, and maybe through him also to the Nigerian Association, all of my Nigerian brothers and sisters. I'm from the Southeast. I come from Maryland. I can understand.
With the 10 people, anytime you talk, I can understand your answer.
Exactly. So we all got the same, you know, Southeast blood running through our veins. I think we should let the former first lady be buried. I understand the issues. I absolutely appreciate your anger and your frustration. But I think let's pick a different time to tackle these issues. I think the time will make itself available. Let's not use our passing, you know, to try to settle scores and even, you know, get equal with the president and all of that. I think a lot of people have already told him that he himself is not handling this thing properly. So let's not use this passing of the former first lady, you know, to settle it. But again, great show. Thank you guys very much. It was great being with you here. Kudos to Siliki there, taking his walk. I like that, getting his steps in. I also want to congratulate young Siliki in Kigali. He did put something in the chat room. You know, proud of you guys when you're moving up. You know, I hope you get elected in Rwanda. So yeah, of course, we're giving all the support we can.
Be careful.
And then we're waiting for Anthony for his to declare his candidacy.
That's right.
I will subsequently, but yeah, I agree.
When you talk about Cameroon and you talk about election, then you messing with Paul Biya. You don't want.
I know, right?
But you know, Paul Biya refused to leave.
That would turn my time.
No.
Let me go. There you go now.
Yeah.
Let me go. You'll be there. Pewee. But yeah, thank you, Mr. Nangbe, and the rest of the panelists. Look, I agree, Mr. Nangbe. For me, I don't know how true it is. It was announced on the other network that Mami will offer them the interview tomorrow, but I hope that she will refrain from any interview until, you know, her mother is, you know, laid to rest, and then if she so choose to talk about anything, she can talk. I don't think this is an appropriate time to grant any kind of lengthy interview and whatnot. You may say something that may, you know, turn out to be something else again, and then it will take away the focus point from giving your mother, the former first lady, you know, a befitting burial. So I think you have made your statement.
Yeah. Bring the lady here so we can talk.
Not yet, my man. We can bring her here anytime, but not now until her mother is laid to rest. Let's respect, you know, the privacy and the dignity of the family, so they can, you know, put that mother to rest, you know, and after that, you know, other interview can be granted or whatnot. And I think that's why.
When's the funeral?
Yes, it's in the group. I will send it to you. I'll send the information. I have it in the group chat. I will send it to you. I can't remember all of this. I don't want to get false information.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I know you remember the campaign date and all of that. We get it. Go ahead, my man. Go ahead.
Y'all want people that are be promoting me. That gives me hard. But yeah, that's what I really want to say. I want the justice system, you know, to really take its course. However, I have some questions. The police said they have custody of the building before the incident took place. But the same police also leading the investigation. There were also Capitol Police security at that venue. We did not hear about any Capitol Police security being brought in for questioning. There also the majority black. We did not hear anything about the majority black or any person that was brought in for questioning. All I want here, I have no fish to fry in this thing. I'm not on either side. I just want the law to be followed and adjudicated the appropriate way. We saw Bob Menendez, the Democratic senator in New Jersey, had a situation when the FBI went to a house and they all kind of investigation. They did not arrest him and put him in jail. You know, he was still moving around while they did the investigation. I mean, that thing of waiting on Friday evening while the courts are closed and wait at the last minute to bring a charge against somebody so they can go to jail to prove a point. We need to stop these things. We really need to stop it. Not because you have a right to do something, so you have to do that thing to, you know. I mean, these guys are in the town. They're not running away. They're not going, and they have been going in for questioning, right? So if you let's just play the devil advocate. If they should go to court and be found non-guilty, the time they spend in jail, will you give it back to them? I don't understand why people do things like that, right? So again, we need to exercise this very government. I talk. The reason why some of us are, you know, having the mindset that we're having right now is because the government gave us the appetite to be this way. Why? They removed people from tenure position. The president disregarded the Supreme Court ruling. So many different missteps. They did not follow PPCC compliance for the yellow machine. The list goes on. An individual gave me a command to break into Kehleboe vehicle. We saw it on video. That was a crime also committed. Did any investigation took place? Was anybody arrested for that? Did anybody go to court for that? I mean, are we picking, choosing justices now in Liberia? So that is my frustration. The last part I want to end on, the government lied to the Liberian people when President Guar went to Nima County to do the dedication or the launch of the iron ore concentrator. The concentrator will not create 6,000 jobs, Liberian people. I went on the Executive Mansion Facebook page and posted the research that I did on iron ore concentration versus a steel mill plant, the pros and cons. So the iron ore concentrator will not benefit the host country. It will only benefit the company, not the host country. So our government and the lawmakers settle for peanuts. A concentrator are supposed to selling or making a case for the steel mill plant. Because what a concentrator will do, it will crush the iron ore into pellets, small particles, and then separate them. And then when they're shipping it, they get, you know, at least 100% ore going. That will be iron. So that's what I think will do. And it's a hydraulic machine. It does not need 6,000 operators. But the government posted on the Executive Mansion website that it will create 6,000 jobs. This is the question that the Unity Party-led government need to answer. They lied to you, Liberian people. They did not tell you the truth. And many of these people also did not do that research to suggest that the iron ore concentrator will create 6,000 jobs. When it's not true. The steel mill, however, could create 10 to 15, up to 20,000 jobs. It can do that. Because then you're changing the raw material, adding value, and Liberia will benefit 4 different ways. Number one, it will create more jobs. Number two, the steel rod price will reduce in Liberia. You will buy steel rod at a lower price, and the government, number 3, will be able to carry on infrastructure development at a lower cost as compared to importing back the raw, the finished product. And the 4th aspect of it, career growth. Folks, you have government officials and lawmakers now doing research on these things, and they are telling the Liberian people, misleading the Liberian people, that they're going to create jobs when we have a youthful population that are jobless. Thank you for having me.
You muted.
Yeah, Honorable Pewee, your turn. Take us out.
Yeah, thank you. I will just jokingly start with Cameroon issue. Paul Biya is 1993, 94.
Young.
His senior advisor is 86.
that Joseph Waga mentor now. Joseph Waga.
Senior advisor, yeah, but yeah, quickly. But let me start with this. The Doe issue, then I will move quickly to a close on the case. My advice here to Madam Myean Doe is that, and I agree, Madam, just remain quiet now. I respect it's the beginning of the tribute process to your late mother.
honor her, even politicians during the kind of a time they are bereaved, they suspend every major political activities to honor the fallen person. So I will say that, and don't give him to Liberian trying to politicize this issue of trying to deepen the level of politics that is being played into this issue. Try to give lip service to it and just concentrate on the process about laying your mother to rest. And that's what I would say to that. But God, listen, a lot of things is unfolding about this. A lot of politicians trying to come in. Zopen is on the other side. The Doe family is a major family back home in Grangie there also. And former Ambassador Isaac Nyenwolo probably trying to make a comeback after his ambassador rule for almost a decade, or almost more than a decade, if you will. He's trying to probably come back to see if he can get elected. So everyone's going to play a role into these things. So I don't want you to allow the process to set the stage for that. So just close on this issue and do the appropriate thing you will do to reconcile with whosoever and move this process forward. Of the case, I will call on the government, for me, quite frankly, to expedite this case and prove that and ensure that the process is fair. And this issue about electing, appointing the next chief justice in our country, it should not be on the basis of we shouldn't try to link it to a party line. This should be the national cause that we appoint justice to the Honorable Supreme Court that will understand the details of the law and will interpret that as per the law. As we say, justice is blind, and they will interpret that and do it in accordance with the due process of law and in protecting the constitution of our country. That's what we should do. It shouldn't be the party-driven process. They agree if someone, even with a party, that person is going to protect the legal profession. That's a very wonderful profession that we all, even non-lawyers, should push to protect, because it protects the sanity of our country, democracy, moving forward. So that's one of the things I would say. But and I also want to call on the police chief. I do understand that you've been desperate to have this job. You have it. You don't have to play a partisan role to keep the job. You are a professional person. Beyond you being a professional person, you are a young person still. I do believe you stay in your 40s. You're going to have a lot of times ahead of you. So I don't think you want to compromise your professionalism just for the next 4 years. There may not be a united party government. Even there is, that would be another 6 years, and it's still ahead of you. So I want to call on you to remain professional and try to not remain professional, try to go back to be professional. And we have to stop all the things we've been have been going on in the country. We have to run the country and open up that and respect those that didn't support us. And lastly, I will call on our former president. You still going to be president of our country. You're still trying to contest to be president of our country. You have to open up to everybody. One thing I do believe, charismatic leaders don't shy away from people, right? If you are a leader of the people, particularly leader of a mass-based political institution, it's part of your responsibility to always affiliate with the people, no matter their condition or whatsoever thought process you may have. And that's one of the things. And leaders, traditionally, leader don't get harmed, man. Come on, don't be afraid of anything. The boss, something will protect you, if you will. You got all that kind of line. Don't be afraid of shaking and see the bull show go out. He's scared.
Everyone do something with it. They don't even need your hands.
Yes, man. That's again. Man, the always are scared. Man, I'm gonna be my hair. Go and get my hair first. Listen, I would love for him to take the phone and call Darkman and Dr. Gangue. Gangue will go and yes, Gangue said he the Darkman. When you are the president, you are the Darkman. Why are you afraid? Come on, so.
That man, I'm scared. That man. Everyone shaking.
But we are used to shake everybody hands on football players.
More than that, right? So I think what he's doing that is concerning is he's selective about it. I think that's why it's even more concerning.
No,
He's shaking hands with other people.
But listen,
that should stop. Actually,
the worst thing about what's going on is the most loyal county and people to the CDC. Joseph Boyka and the Unity Party have been long looking for a space or crack, okay, to penetrate or to make a better show in Grand Jide. And you're giving them the opportunity to I mean, once you crack the door and the toes is there, they will come through.
Grand Jide going to the ANC now. That's it.
There you go. You don't want to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Let's do this again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Let's do this thing tomorrow for Mama Liberia. As always, thank you very much for tuning in. If it's 5 o'clock Friday every day, we have a closing argument. You want to make it? This is the place to make it. Mr. Senator, incoming Senator, you got my vote. You got my support. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you.